This is Chronicles of the Chosen One, Reign of the Fallen, written and narrated by Ashish Acharya. Starting off with the warning segment. Warning. This book has moments of extreme violence, language, self-harm, and other adult themes. This book, though it may be science fiction, tackles very real issues that people deal with in their everyday lives. Some scenes and scenarios might be a lot for some readers to take. This book is not for everyone. You have been warned. Chapter 1. The Mysterious Visitor. Earth 0474, Overworld, 2028. Freedom. Flying through the countryside, a man in dark clothes weaves and rolls midair as the wind blows in his semi-long hair. He looked on as he flew over a castle. Peace, he thought. The man slid upright in the air as he approached a mound of grass. Dropping out of the sky, he landed smoothly on the grass and knelt down. Punching into the ground, he opened a portal out of the mound of dirt and walked through it. He walked out of the warbling black portal into the desolate space of the end. The tall obsidian towers of his castle stood bleakly, blending in with the darkness of space. As the man hovered over to the door, a camera popped out of the wall, scanning him up and down. "Welcome home, sir," a smooth robotic voice greeted him as the camera unit retracted into the wall and the door opened with a hiss. The man floated inside, not even bothering to walk. He flew up the stairs and landed at a wall, pressing his hand on the hidden door panel. Another hiss unlocked another passage, and he entered a secret storage room. The man began to drop piles and piles of all the loot he had accumulated from raiding pirate ships and dungeons into his chest. He flew into his room, took off the cloth mask on his face, threw it to the floor, and flopped onto his bed. Letting out a sigh, he closed his eyes, settling into the night. Earth M. The end. 10 minutes ago. He couldn't afford to get hit. Dodging the shulker bullets, a mysterious figure dismembered a shulker with his eldritch magic. Suddenly, he sensed a spike in cosmic energy. Could it be? It's him. He opened a portal behind him and exited on top of the roof. He watched from a distance as a variant of Ash MCM walked through a portal and entered his castle. "Just who I was looking for," the mysterious figure said. After marking a genetic match on someone named Ash MCM, the man opened a portal of his own and walked through it. Chapter 2. The Speed of Light. Earth 2A, Overworld, Audia City. Upon tracking the DNA signature, the mysterious being ended up in the overworld, but something was different. There were buildings. The cosmic trail was there, but faint. The being closes his eyes. He separates his astral form from his body and flies above the horizon. He gets a vision of something, a blur almost too quick to track. Catching wind of an enemy military base, he watched as soldiers appeared to vanish in thin air. He furrowed his brow. It's him, he thought. He opened the portal at the location and walked through. Ashton Hart, also known as Lightspeed, the lightning-fast hero of Earth 2A, weaved between the enemy soldiers. "Come on, guys, make this fun for me, would ya?" He knocked one soldier down, ducked under another's gunfire, and pushed another soldier into his partner. The soldier backflipped over the other, and they both crumpled to the ground. Bullets flew around him, but Ashton wasn't worried. The projectiles were moving in slow motion to him. A group of soldiers ran at him, forming a line formation. "Too easy," he said, cracking his neck and fingers as he readied up. He ran in a zigzag, taking out the soldiers. He stopped in front of a soldier who pulled out a knife. Lightspeed yawned. "A knife? Really?" he said. The soldier charged at him with the knife, and Lightspeed chuckled and shook his head as he leaned backwards. The soldier suddenly slowed and stopped, due to his accelerated perception. White flickers danced around him as he laughed to himself. Lightspeed stood still for a second, forming his hands in a rectangle, admiring his statue. The soldier was frozen mid-jump, aiming his knife inches from his head. Lightspeed flicks the knife out of his hand and walks behind the soldier, giving him a gentle shove. He exits his accelerated perception and the soldier flies across the room. As the soldier crashes into the wall and crumbles to the ground, he mock shudders and says, "Yikes, that won't buff out." Suddenly, a portal opens and out steps the figure. "Ashton Hart," he says, "I need to speak with you." Lightspeed looks over at him, slumps in defeat, and says, "Firstly, come on, dude. It's kinda rude to go spouting my identity like that. Secondly, who the hell are you?" The man puts his hand on Lightspeed's shoulder. "I can't tell you that now. There are matters we need to discuss. Do you have somewhere private where we can talk?" Earth 2A, Overworld, Audia City, Lightspeed's mansion. The portal opens into the spruce wood varnished meeting room. "I'm not surprised. I should have known you would have had one too," the figure says. Lightspeed turns to look at him, curious. "You know other me's with meeting rooms?" The figure laughs. "You'd be surprised. It's kind of common for yous to have big meeting areas." Lightspeed looks almost disheartened. "It's probably not like this," he mumbles, taking a seat at the table. The man walks around the table and sits across from him at the other side. "So," Lightspeed said, "maybe your name would be a good start? And maybe tell me what was so urgent that you literally had to pull up to my reality." The man removes his hood and looks up at Lightspeed. A bun bounces out from the hood, and the face of himself, but with a trimmed salt and pepper beard, looks back up at him. Lightspeed gasps and points. "You look like me, but older and shaggier." Mystic laughs. "Well, for starters, you can call me Mystic MCM. As you can see, I'm a variant of you. I'm going around the multiverse looking for more of us, because, as it happens, the multiverse is in danger." Yeesh, you gotta workshop that name. Lightspeed slouches in his chair, looking at his dirty fingernails. "Anyway, the multiverse is always in danger. What's it to me?" Mystic blinks. "The concept of the multiverse doesn't confuse you?" "No," Lightspeed says. "I can literally manipulate space-time. Why would it?" Mystic pauses for a second. "Fair point. Now, I'm looking for one of the strongest beings in the multiverse. You may have heard of him. He goes by the name of the Chosen One. His powers include super strength, flight, and heat vision." Lightspeed cuts in. "Like Superman?" Mystic looks at him, confused. "Pardon?" Lightspeed gets up and starts speeding around excitedly. "Dude, you're telling me you can literally sense power through the multiverse, and you don't know about Superman? He's the strongest guy I know, and his powers are just like the ones you were taught." "Yes, I know about Superman," Mystic cuts in, annoyed. "He's busy. Also, I don't believe he'll be enough for what we are facing." Lightspeed looks blankly at Mystic. "You're telling me that there's someone out there stronger than Superman?" Mystic sighs. "Ashton, can I call you Ash?" "Sure. Ash, there are a lot of people out there stronger than Superman. If there wasn't, I would have just gone to the Justice League. No, this being I'm looking for is much more. He is a specimen." Lightspeed rolled his eyes and leaned against the wall. "You sound kinda obsessed there, dude." Mystic looked away, flustered. "I am not obsessed. I just recognize power, that's all." "Whatever, bro," Lightspeed laughs. "Just tell me what he looks like, and I'll do a sweep of the city to find him." "Well, that's the thing, Ash," Mystic starts, glancing at Ashton. "He looks like us." Chapter 3. Enter the Prime Eternal. Earth 199999B, Unknown Location, 2026. 199999B is 2 years behind Earth 0474. Golden lasers shot out into the fold, cutting a deviant into pieces. A man flew in between the masses, blasting hordes of deviants. He chuckled as he diced them into two. He landed and raised his fist at a 90-degree angle. Energy enveloped his hands with a hum as he activated his cosmic exoskeleton. Deviant after deviant went flying as he hit them with his super punch. Out of nowhere, the man got whacked into a mountain. He flew out of the crater he created with his impact and surveyed the landscape. "What the hell was that?" he thought. He saw the hulking being trudging towards him. Ah, deviant, you don't scare me. He took off towards the humongous deviant and charged into it, pushing it through hills and mountains. The creature socked him again and he dropped out of the sky. He got up, brushed himself off, and dashed at the creature, speed blitzing it. The creature keeled over, struggling to get up. The man activated his super fist and open palmed the creature, dropping it to the ground. He pointed at the creature as if to patronize it. "Stay down," he said as he took off. Later, in the interior of his ship, the Domo, the man was just sitting in the main room, scrolling on the computer. An alert flashed in golden text, notifying him that 2 blips had just entered his vicinity. "Intruders," he growls. He pulls back on the thrust lever and takes off to investigate the source. Earth 1999-99b. Lush Greenlands. Mystic and Lightspeed walk through the portal into the lush Greenlands. A shadow falls over them, covering the sun and causing them to look up. The Domo, poised over them, overshadowed the whole horizon. "Holy shit! Is that a spaceship?" Lightspeed squealed. Mystic, eyes fixed on the entrance, sees the figure exit the main entrance with his farsight. The figure floats out of the ship and slowly descends to their level. "Lightspeed, ready up. He's coming down." Lightspeed suddenly looks less excited. "Who's he?" Mystic doesn't take his eyes off the being. "If he's who I think he is, we need to be very careful." Aurelios, the Prime Eternal of Earth 1999-99b, floats down to them, eyes burning with gold energy. "State your business," he utters, "and you may leave unharmed." He notices Lightspeed looking up at him with a frightened look on his face, and then the much more hardened and full of resolve face of Mystic. "Wait, why do you look—" Mystic puts his right hand in front of Lightspeed, shielding him, and his left hand up in a wait motion. "Aurelios of Earth 1999-99b. My name is Mystic MCM, of designation Earth 0828. This is Lightspeed, of designation Earth 2A. We are variants of yours from the multiverse. We don't mean you any harm. We're looking for another one of our variants, or possibly you." "I know you're kind, sorcerer," Aurelios practically spat. "What could you possibly want with our variants, or more importantly, with me?" Hand still raised, Mystic continues. "I need to recruit the most powerful variant of us, the Chosen One, to help me with a mission of mine. I was wondering if you knew where I could find the him of this universe, if one possibly exists, seeing as you are a celestial being in the same caliber as he." Aurelios looks at Mystic, confused and a bit jealous. If what you say is true, and there are multiple variants of us, you are bold to assume that this so-called Chosen One, of which you speak, is the strongest of us. But no, I have no knowledge of them." Mystic keeps on staring at Aurelios, not breaking eye contact. "Are you sure? Even if you have merely heard of rumors, seen instances, all you would need to do is tell us, and we'd be on our way, out of your jurisdiction, away from your path." Aurelios' eyes flare with more intensity as he growls. "I have told you what I know. Now leave my reality, sorcerer, or be removed." Mystic sighs and mutters under his breath, "Here we go." He wraps Aurelios in an eldritch tendril and tosses him away, sending him flying backwards. Lightspeed yells out and looks at Mystic, hands raised in a pose of utter disbelief. "Hey, what the hell was that? Are you trying to die?" Mystic looks back at Lightspeed. "You should probably get going. I started it. I'll handle it." Lightspeed yells at Mystic. "Handle what? Have you seen that guy? He's gonna kill you." "Not if I have anything to say about it." Mystic smiles at Lightspeed and then takes off towards Aurelios. Chapter 4. The Eternal versus the Sorcerer. Earth 1999-99b, Lush Greenlands. Prime shakes himself off, eyes flaring with intensity. Mystic floats toward him, arms raised, but Prime grits his teeth, clenches his fists, and shoots his optic blasts at him, sending him to the ground. Mystic rolls backward, quickly getting to his feet and activating his eldritch shields. Aurelios, stop! I don't want to fight you if I don't have to. Prime activates his own cosmic fists and growls. Then why did you strike first? He swings wildly, Mystic dodging every blow. In between swings, Mystic calls out to Prime. Prime, we need your help. I don't care. Prime hits Mystic full on with his lasers, knocking him back. Mystic puts his hands together and summons clones, sending them after him, and Prime dodges them, attacking them all at once with his optic beams, making them disappear. Prime breaks the tension, flight tackling Mystic. He sends Mystic through mountain after mountain, growling with a burning intensity. Mystic casts a defensive spell and shoots it at Prime, sending him reeling. Prime recovers and shakes his head, waking himself up. He snarls and rockets toward Mystic, fist at the ready. All of a sudden, they hear a whoop, and suddenly, Prime's fist is caught with a clutch, and Mystic looks at the figure who has just teleported into the fold. The Chosen One floats in front of him, holding Prime's fist in his hand. He looks at his variant and tilts his head, Prime struggling in his grasp. Hello, me, he says. Mystic says back in shock, Chosen One? He looks around at the two variants of him and smirks. What kind of clusterfuck have I flown in on? The Chosen One winds back a great punch and socks Prime into the ground, flying after him. Lightspeed watches on as the two Variashes beat each other to a close. I have to do something, he thinks. He dashes over to them, seeing them with his accelerated perception. The Chosen One and Prime are frozen in animation, mid-punch. Lightspeed moves in light time, gradually approaching the two. He uses his speed thinking to try to come up with a situation to separate them, when the Chosen One suddenly glances to the side to look at Lightspeed. Lightspeed almost stops running as he stares back in shock. The Chosen One butterfly twists over the still frozen Prime, grabbing him as he does, and throws him in the direction of Lightspeed. Time resumes as Lightspeed and Prime collide, clotheslining Lightspeed and sending him sprawling. Prime collapses in a heap on the floor, rolling twice over before stopping in a flat heap. The Chosen One lands standing up. While crouched, he notices Mystic gathering his breath on the floor. You, he mutters, frowning. He stands up, flying over to Mystic, grabbing him by the throat and slamming him into a wall. Mystic gasps for air, clutching at the Chosen One's hands. The Chosen One frowns. I noticed you've been on my trail. Who are you? And why do you all look like me? Mystic struggles through gasped breaths. What's wrong? The Chosen One prods. Can't find the words? Let me help you. He furrows his brow, and his eyes burn with red light. Wouldn't have reached out unless it was important, Mystic gasps. Lightspeed runs over and yells, Stop! Stop! He's telling the truth! The Chosen One sneers and drops Mystic to the ground. He claws for air, coughing. Look, I'd love to explain myself, but I can't do that here. We need somewhere private. Lightspeed drops his hands. Dude, do you say that to everyone? Mystic looks at Prime. Prime frowns but nods. I fear we are running out of time. The Chosen One's brow furrows in confusion. What do you mean? Mystic looked at the Chosen One funny. You mean you don't know? The Chosen One's gaze dropped. Don't know about what? Mystic smirked. Of course. You're not from Earth 0910, are you? The Chosen One looked at Mystic confused. What do you mean, Earth 0910? Are you trying to say you didn't come from Earth 0474? No, Ash. I'm from Earth 0828, Mystic replied. This threat I am working to eliminate originates from Earth 0910. The Chosen One stares at Mystic, fists clenched. How did you... Mystic raises a hand, silencing him. Anyway, that is not important right now. What I am trying to tell you is, whatever is currently terrorizing the multiverse is much more dangerous than I think you realize. The Chosen One strokes his goatee and says, Where is this thing now? Chapter 5, The Fallen One. Earth 1999-99b, the Domo. Disbelief filled the air. The Chosen One stared across the table at the perplexed and monotone faces of himself. The Prime Eternal and Lightspeed looked back at him, confused. Prime had his arms crossed and Lightspeed was tapping his foot like a certain green-eyed blue hedgehog. The Chosen One sighed and finally broke the silence. "Does no one else think this is weird?" "Not particularly," said Prime. "It's like looking into a mirror," Lightspeed interjected. The Chosen One shook his head and spluttered. "Like, I know this is kind of the point, but I can't get over the fact that you guys look exactly like me." He glanced at Prime. "For example, we're the same height." He then looked over at Lightspeed. "And I have that exact same jacket." Lightspeed looked at him. "Really? Where'd you get it?" The Chosen One crossed his arms. "Some clothing store called Urban Planet." "Ha ha! I knew it! Guys!" They all looked to the door, instantly going silent. Mystic MCM looked back at the Chosen One and said, "Well, long story short, I thought the three of you would be enough to take on this being I was telling you about." The Chosen One and the Prime Eternal both said, "I can take it on myself." They looked at each other and frowned. Prime Eternal turned away and sneered. Lightspeed walked over and said, Now, guys, we all know you two are the strongest here, but you don't have to tear the place apart trying to prove it. Meanwhile, I feel useless. All I am compared to you guys is fast. You guys are powerhouses." The Chosen One shrugged off Lightspeed and retorted, "The lab rat here isn't needed. You can tell he's a clear ripoff of me. Flight, optic beams, super strength. The only thing he's missing is X-ray vision. What else can you do, anyway?" Prime scoffs and says, "If I heard correctly, your powers and mine were achieved in a similar fashion. Tell me, how does that make us any different from each other?" "The difference is that I can knock you into next week and not break a sweat." "Huh," Prime spat. "I'd like to see you try." "Enough," Mystic bellowed, causing everyone to look at him. "I brought you all here to cooperate, not to flex your egos." The Chosen One looked at Mystic and said, "Out of all of my variants, you had to bring this one? There has to have been someone better you could have chosen. This guy just annoys me." "You aren't exactly Captain Lovable yourself," Prime spat. Mystic facepalmed and said, "Ash, your variants are a rare breed. There aren't many planetary-level variants of you because there doesn't need to be. And those kind are the ones that I need. So that means you don't get to be picky." The Chosen One sat in silence. "Look, the last time I saw someone go at this threat half-cocked, they lost their whole team. The multiverse can't afford a loss like that again. So, if you are here to cooperate, I will tell you what we are up against." Mystic turns to his side, opening a portal with a vroom. "If not, this portal is multiverse locked. Whoever steps through it will be sent back to their home universe. If you guys can't work together, I can always find more Variashes to do your guys' jobs. Do I make myself clear?" "Heh, Variashes. Nice name," Lightspeed said. "Do I make myself clear?" Mystic repeated. Everyone looks around at each other and nods. "Sure," the Chosen One says, crossing his arms. "Crystal," Lightspeed says, straightening. Prime just looks away, rolling his eyes. "All right then," Mystic says, closing the portal. "Let me tell you what to expect." Chapter 5.5 The Flashback. Earth 0910. Revengers HQ, 2018. Voiceover of narrator. The Chosen One and Joel Wayne are in the tech lab of the Hall of Justice on Earth 0910. The year was 2018, 6 years after Ash's incident. Asterisk says, "Remember the Chosen One turned evil?" Since that day, Joe and Ash had decided to work together to make a contingency in hopes that history doesn't repeat itself. Joe: "So, levels are holding steady. Are you sure you want to use your DNA as a base? A lot could go wrong with that. Just saying." Ash: "What's the worst that could happen? The thing will probably think I'm its father. Then I have to imprint on it and raise it for a couple of years. Hell, maybe I can even retire. It would be nice to, not be me. Joe. Well, alright then. Running initiation sequence. VO. They all thought it would be just fine. Who would have thought they had just made the biggest mistake they could ever think of making? The bio-android awoke. All was peaceful. All was bliss. Ash MCM. The Chosen One looked over at Joel, then at the android. Target diagnosis. Threat level maximum. Joe? I don't know. It must be a glitch. Subject status classified. Danger to world. Must kill Ash MCM. The Chosen One looked at Joel. What did you do? Why is it targeting me? Joe splutters back. I don't know. I told you using your DNA as a base could have some risky side effects. Risky side effects? This shit is trying to kill me. Did you program this to neutralize me? The Chosen One's laser eyes glow in anger. Joe looks away and throws up his hands when all of a sudden the bio-android tackles Ash MCM through the wall. Joe presses a button on his communicator, calling the rest of the Revengers. Through a purple materialization field, Pierogi PL steps through into the hallway. Spec-Star crashes through the roof and lands on the floor. You called us, Piero said. What's happening? Joe, out of breath, pointed and said, Contingency gone rogue. Outside. Spec-Star shakes his head. What the fuck did you guys do now? Piero looks at Spec-Star. Just another Tuesday, eh? Piero steps through another materialization field, and Spec-Star flies through the hole in the roof. Outside, Ash is flying and fighting the rogue clone of himself. The clone monotonically beeps the same command string. Must kill Ash MCM. Must kill Ash MCM. Ash punches and lasers the bio-android, but to no use. Piero and Spec-Star come to his aid, and the Chosen One notices them join in. He fluidly grabs the bio-android by the neck, throwing it to Piero, who rapidly teleports around it, kicking and punting the bot around and around. He boots it into the air, and Spec-Star blasts it with a cosmic energy blast. To their horror, this seems to just supercharge it, and it lets out a dark explosion, sending everyone flying. The bio-android pulses with black energy, its hands glowing. Piero exclaims, Shatterpoint? I thought only you could do that. Ash says, Oh, shit. The bio-android super punches Ash MCM off the screen while Spec-Star shoots a blast at it and Piero tries to fight it off. The bio-android fights both Spec-Star and Piero at the same time, seemingly gaining the upper hand. Ash is down for the count. Joel appears out of nowhere, throwing an explosive battering at the android. It embeds itself in the body of the android, but it is unfazed by it, and it smacks it out of its body. Joel raises his arms in a fighting stance and prepares to fight, but the bio-android shuts off its pseudo-shatterpoint, staring down at its creator. Maker detected. Offensive system deactivated. Joel thinks, now it's time for me to be the hero. Joel exhales and says, You are a mistake. I never should have created you. He attempts to press the button to self-destruct the bio-android, but it notices him, and with its super speed, it dashes over to Joel and grabs him by the arm. The bio-android twists Joel's arm, breaking it and making him drop the remote. Joel cries out as the bio-android quickly beeps out a response. Maker hostile. Offensive countermeasures enabled. The bio-android uses its telekinesis to lift Joel into the air. It begins to contort Joel's body, breaking his arms and legs. Joel screams out in pain as it finally pops his brain and eyes, silencing Joel's screams once and for all, and dropping him on a bloody heap on the floor. Piero gasps. Joe! Spec-Star screams, hands glowing with golden energy. Ash wakes up to see Spec-Star screaming and Piero in shock. He looks over to the deceased Joel. Joe? His eyes burn red and his brow furrows into a frown. Alright, I had my problems with that guy, but now I'm fucking pissed. He flew at the android, who grabbed him out of the sky and slammed him onto the ground, speed punching him repeatedly. It then threw him aside as Spec-Star teleported behind it, attempting to strike, but it caught him and flipped him into the ground. It subdued him with a punch and stood up. Piero attempted to jump at the android, but it caught him midair with its telekinesis and threw him across the field. Piero landed by the Chosen One, and they locked eyes. The Chosen One nodded at Piero. Piero nodded at the Chosen One. They stood up together. The Chosen One glanced at Piero. "Remember, just like I taught you." Piero nodded in acknowledgement. They charged up, yelling at the top of their lungs. The Chosen One yelled and burst into a Shatterpoint state, a golden-orange aura surrounding him and his eyes glowing orange. Piero followed suit, bursting into his ultimate form. A purple aura surrounded him and his eyes glowed purple. The Chosen One sprinted over to the bio-android, sending a barrage of super punches at it, while Piero lifted into the air and shot purple energy beams at it. It dodged and weaved, sending attacks of its own in the form of black optic blasts. The Chosen One got hit but wasn't phased, moving so fast that he was basically a blur. Piero stayed in the air, using ranged attacks to keep the bio-android at bay. Piero says, "Ash, I got something to kill this thing, but you're not gonna like it." Ash looks over at Piero. "What? No, absolutely not. We've lost too much today." Piero looked almost sorry. "I don't think we have much of a choice." The Chosen One closed his eyes and said, "Fine, charge it up. I'll hold him at bay." Piero stopped shooting his long-range blasts and got into a fetal position, almost as if he was drawing energy from his core. Purple energy surged to the center of his body, slowly building up and snaking along his skin in the design of veins. The Chosen One sped around the bio-android, rapidly punching it. The bio-android grabbed the Chosen One out of his speed and super-punched him, sending him flying over to Piero. Piero called the Chosen One, saying, "Ash, I can't hold it anymore. Get out of here." The Chosen One looked at his friend one last time, nodded, and took off to find Spec-Star. Piero smiled and closed his eyes. Ah! A purple glow builds from Piero's solar plexus, and he teleports in front of the bio-android. "Hey, ugly!" The bio-android looks at Piero, tilting its head. He smiles. "Dodge this." He releases the blast as it explodes out, causing a shockwave. The Chosen One stares in disbelief, fighting back tears. He shakes his head, scanning the horizon for his friend. He finds him and speeds over to him, shaking him violently. "Nate? Nate!" He looks to the right as the blast rings out, having caught up to them. Nate grabs him, which directs the Chosen One's attention back to his friend. Get out of here. Leave." The Chosen One looks back at him, confused. What do you... "I said get out!" Nate yells. "Leave this reality and don't come back!" The Chosen One, lost for words, stumbles back. "But why? What did I do?" "Because of you, Joe is dead, Piero is gone, and all trust in us is shattered. This is all your fault. Just leave. Go." "Nate, calm down." Spec-Star punches the Chosen One in the face, but due to his weakened state, the Chosen One barely turns his head. "You asshole. Do not tell me to calm down." The Chosen One almost hesitantly looks back at Nate, hands raised. Okay. I won't. "You are a danger to us and to everyone in this city. Your very presence incites challenge, even within our own team. Your own team. Why do you have to portray yourself like a god?" Ash looks at Nate, heartbroken. "How could you even say that? God knows we tried to understand you and treat you as a friend, but the truth is, we don't know what you are, or what you're capable of." Ash looks at Nate, tears welling up in his eyes. "And for the safety of this reality, I think it's best if you just go." The Chosen One grabs Nate by the arm and looks at him. "Nate, Just go. We'll contact you when this all blows over. Find somewhere to lay low." "Why do you want me to leave?" Nate looked away from him, shuffling his arm back. "The bio-android has your genetic structure and looks exactly like you. Surely you wouldn't want to stick around for questions." The Chosen One stepped back, wiped his nose, and then took off, leaving a small amount of cracks in the ground. Nate settles on the ground, laying his head in his hands and taking in all that had happened as the hidden camera zooms out of frame. The proverbial camera picks up on a mysterious figure, draped in a flowing hooded blue cloak, watching from a distant hillside. After careful consideration, he watches as Nate struggles to get to his feet, opens a portal, and walks through. Having received all he needed, he opens his own eldritch magic portal and walks through it. The dust settles as the flashback ends. Chapter 6. The Game Plan. Earth 1999-99b, the Domo. And, ever since then, says Mystic, since the Revengers suffered that defeat on Earth 0910, this thing, has terrorized the multiverse, killing our variants around it. That day was the inception and the dawn of the one they call the Fallen One. Lightspeed slowly raised his hand. Mystic looked over, sighing. What is it, Ashton? Well, do you know exactly what you're up against? Like, what are this Fallen One's powers? We need a tactical advantage or strategy if we are to effectively take down this threat, Prime interjected. Sorcerer, do you have a last posted location on the Fallen One? Mystic thought about Lightspeed's question. Well, from what I understand, it's like me. Everyone looked towards the Chosen One as he walked to the front of the room. If I heard you right, the Fallen One, it, is basically exactly like me, just pure evil. You'll need someone of my caliber or stronger to beat it, and even then, there's no guarantee of survival. It seems to have telekinetic abilities in place of my core abilities, but other than that, the similarities in our powers are uncanny. There's no strategy, no game plan, nothing I can suggest to give us the advantage. If what Mystic here says is true, and he really does have a hold on the multiverse, the only option there is, he pauses, stroking his goatee, is to kill him. Chapter 7. Ultimate. Earth M, unknown location, 2027. Cold. Alone. How am I still? Pierogi PL wakes up on the floor of his cell. Where am I? He says to no one. What is this place? This would be the end. An eerie and raspy voice rings out. Piero snaps his head to the bars of his cell. A tall, lean figure with dark matted hair and a shaped goatee slowly walks toward him, arms outstretched. You grace me with your presence, my old student, my old friend, the man says. Piero squints his eyes, and they soon widen in disbelief. No, it can't be. I thought, the Chosen One of Earth 0910, now medium lean and seemingly sickly, with long, unkempt dark hair, peers into Piero's cell, smiling freakishly. That I was dead. Oh no, my dear friend. I went into exile, lost the will to live, went rogue, the Chosen One said, delivering the last line with a chilling tone. But then I remembered I couldn't die. I can't die! The man breaks out into unstable laughter and looks off to the side, one hand on his temple, as if he was thinking. Not until I complete my purpose, that is. The Chosen One dashes against the bars and Piero stumbles backwards up against the bed, suspended by a chain on the wall. The gaze of the unstable Chosen One pierces into Piero's eyes. That's where you come in, buddy. I have a goal. Let's just say I'm looking for some old friends. And you, a second Chosen One walks slowly up beside the first one, though its eyes, its cold, dead eyes, are blacker than the view of space surrounding them. Piero's eyes go wide. Impossible. The rogue finishes his sentence, smiling unsettlingly. You're gonna help me find them. Or should I say, find me. Earth 1999-99b, the Domo. The very ashes look upon the screen, trying to find the last known location of the Fallen One. Alright, so you're telling me Piero did some zero-energy blast and transported himself and the Fallen One to the unknown regions? Said the Chosen One. Mystic nodded. From what I could see, yeah, I believe he's still out there, though I don't know if he managed to beat the Fallen One, or... Lightspeed raised his hand again, slowly. Mystic looked over at him and said, "You don't need to raise your hand, Ashton. But go on. What is it?" "Don't you think we'll need more of us?" Lightspeed says. "From what you told me, Mist, this guy sounds pretty tough." Mystic shook his head. "The three of you should be enough, I hope. Though it is a good idea to attempt to recruit some more. We gotta start somewhere. If this guy truly is going around the multiverse killing our variants, maybe one of them has a hint or some information." Lightspeed nodded. "Yeah, that's what I meant, of course." Mystic looked over at the Chosen One. "Ash, can I talk to you for a sec?" The Chosen One and Lightspeed look over, pointing at each other. "Huh? Me?" "The Chosen, Ash," Mystic says. Lightspeed nods and replies, "Oh, yeah, sure," as the Chosen One walks over. They walk away from Lightspeed and Prime, who continue to scour the map. The Chosen One turns to Mystic and asks, "What did you want to talk to me about?" Mystic said, 2 months after I left Earth 0910, I became aware about that version of you's turn. Because of it, I was hesitant for a long time to even come find you." The Chosen One furrowed his brow. "So, what made you cave?" Mystic stroked his goatee. "If a Chosen One has seriously gone rogue, then we need to move quickly." The Chosen One looks at him, curious. "Why?" "I've noticed the multiverse has fallen into collapse," Mystic said. "It's weak, dying. Worlds and realities colliding, some being wiped out of existence, all because of the actions of the Fallen One." "How does that thing have so much influence?" the Chosen One said. "What could it be possibly doing, alone, around the multiverse?" Mystic looks at him with urgency. "That's just it. I don't think it's working alone." "What makes you say that?" the Chosen One asks. Looking away from him as if he doesn't want to say, Mystic replies, "Its last known directive was to kill you. I believe since gaining access to the multiverse through your friend, the frequency has multiplied." "Multiplied?" the Chosen One asks. Mystic exhales, then finishes his sentence, turning to face the Chosen One. "I believe it's targeting your variants around the multiverse and wiping them out, sequentially." The Chosen One paused, inexpressionally shocked. "And it may also be working with the version of you from 0910. The things I've heard, the way that they are all killing them, it has him written all over it," Mystic continued. "Well, that's just great," the Chosen One said flatly. Mystic blinked, unable to give a rebuttal. "You, being created during the inception of creation, means you are fundamental to the existence of timelines. So remove you, and timeline erased," the Chosen One finished. Mystic nodded. "Exactly." "Guys," said Lightspeed, "I think we got something." The Chosen One and Mystic ran over to the computer screen. The Chosen One crossed his arms as he looked at the display. "So, what are we looking at?" "While you guys were over there having your little sidebar," said Lightspeed, "we used your screen to try and get in contact with some other variants." Mystic looked at Lightspeed. "Any luck?" Lightspeed turned to Mystic with a look of despair. "That's the thing, bro. There ain't many left." The Chosen One leaned into the screen and read off the names. "There, Earth 0326 and Earth 0224. Who's there?" "From what I can see, Earth 0326 is home to a variant of us called Solar Flare. Solar energy manipulation, solar speed, etc., Mystic says. He's basically a walking sun." The Chosen One nodded. "Noted. And Earth 0224, who's there?" Mystic stares blankly. "Looks like you, but older." Lightspeed breaks out into a grin. "How much older we talking?" Mystic strokes his beard. "Well, due to his genetic makeup, it's hard to tell his age as it is, but he's got graying sides, and the time slot of the universe looks to be, give or take, 20 years ahead of ours." Lightspeed jabs the Chosen One in the side. "So that's like nothing for you, is it? You'll probably still look the same. Won't you? Won't you?" "Shut up, man," the Chosen One grumbled. Lightspeed chuckled to himself. "Guys, enough," Mystic said. Looking at the Chosen One, he asked, "All right, where do we start?" Chapter 8, The Living Sun. Earth 0326, Overworld 2023. The portal burst open into the familiar space of the overworld, lush and green. Trees were towering above, stretching to the heavens. The Chosen One and Prime floated out of the portal, Lightspeed dashed out and Mystic floated through. Right, said the Chosen One. So how far do we have to travel to find this variant of, well, me? Mystic closed his eyes and put his hands together. He scanned the life forms for a genetic signature matched to the Chosen One. Not far. According to the energy I'm picking up, he's just over that way. Lightspeed looks ahead. You mean that mountain that way? 'Cause I think I know what that means. Do you know what that means? Secret base, Prime said flatly. Lightspeed punched Prime in the shoulder, who barely flinched. Secret base, he repeated. The Chosen One flew over to the mountain and scanned it with his X-ray vision. I'm not seeing anyone. Maybe he can hide his signature, or he stays depowered so his radiation levels aren't fatal to others. Mystic nods. Or maybe he isn't exuding a signature at all. They walked up to the mountain, which looked normal enough, except there were steps leading up to an opening carved into the wall. An overhang provided shade from the scorching sun. Lightspeed approached the entrance, giddy. Hey, it seems like there's a way in here. Last one in's a rotten egg. He rushed at the entrance when, bong! He rebounds off a previously invisible force field and collapses onto his butt, holding his nose. Ow! What the? Ch! Man up, you'll live, growls Prime, unimpressed. Prime helped Lightspeed up as the Chosen One and Mystic walked over to the wall. Mystic sighs as he asks, Ash, you didn't see a force field with your X-ray vision? My X-ray vision can't see other spectrums of light, retorts the Chosen One. Also, I told you, whoever or whatever is here, they don't want to be found. Mystic calls out, Ash MCM of Earth 0326. My name is Mystic MCM from Earth 0828. We are fellow variants, seeking out others who can possibly give us information on an evil variant of ours that is threatening the multiverse. We would like to recruit them to our cause to defeat him. Can you please open your force field and let us through? A speaker pops out of a crevice, and a voice rings out through the speaker. There is no Ash MCM here. Please, go away. We would not like to be involved with any multiversal nonsense, thank you. Now turn back, or I will engage the base defenses. They look at each other and back at the wall. The Chosen One blasts the speaker with his heat vision, cutting it off of the rod it protruded out from. Turrets rise out of the base wall, shooting at both Prime and the Chosen One. Lightspeed dashes behind Mystic, who activates a force field. Hey! He screams. Prime stifles a yawn, and the Chosen One checks his wrist as lasers bounce off of their invulnerable bodies. They look at each other and nod, and take off towards the turrets. The Chosen One bisects one turret as Prime blasts the other, heating it up and making it explode. The Chosen One and Prime then blast the wall with their optic beams and heat vision. The force field strains under the pressure of the golden yellow and crimson red beams. After some time, the gate finally explodes, breaking with a huge boom. They step through the entrance, walking through a foyer leading to two blast doors. Prime charges up his super fist and punches one of the doors off the hinges. They walk into the main room of the house and see nothing, except a pool on the far left side with a screen in front of it, an elevator in the middle of the house, a smeltery on the right side of the house, and a small waterfall with a tiny bridge in front of it. Prime looks at Mystic, disappointed. This is where the Ash MCM of this universe lives? Mystic glances over at Prime, shrugging. They walk around the main area, scanning for life forms. The Chosen One activates his X-ray vision and surveys the room. I don't see anyone, but I do see a hatch, by that wall. They walk over to the far right wall and up to the hatch. Bang! Prime deactivates his cosmic fists as the trapdoor clangs to the ground. They all drop down into an intricate tunnelway made of sandstone, containing circular patterns carved into the wall with torches in the middle. Lightspeed dashes down the tunnel system, calling from the end of the hall. Guys, you gotta see this! The Chosen One floats over, dropping down out of the air. He activates his X-ray vision again and says, Got him. There's a signature coming from behind the armory. Lightspeed opens the room behind the Chosen One, containing towering bookshelves. Yo, check out these books. They're in some kind of alien language, and they're glowing. Mystic telekinetically replaces the books on the shelf. Hands to yourself, Ash. Lightspeed mouths sorry and walks out of the enchanting room, the door closing with a whoosh behind him. The Chosen One and Prime walk up to the door of the armory. The Chosen One looks over at Prime, who raises his right arm and activates his cosmic exoskeleton. He counts down on his hand and mouths, 3, 2, bang! Prime punches a hole through the sandstone wall, doubling as a door. An "ah" rings out from inside the room. "You didn't wait," mouths the Chosen One. Prime smacks his teeth at him and swipes away at the rest of the entrance. They walk through the frame in the wall and look around, finally exhaling in shock. A skinny, shirtless man sits in the corner of the room, curled into a ball, scared out of his mind. The Chosen One tilts his head. "This is one of us?" Lightspeed punches the Chosen One's shoulder. "Man, you aged horribly." The Chosen One side-eyes him in disbelief. Who are you?" the man splutters. "You mean you can't tell?" Lightspeed jabs. "We're you," the Chosen One says. "Unfortunately," Prime crosses his arms and looks disappointed. The man looks at them. "So, it was you who sent that message, who broke down my doors." Lightspeed cringes. "Yeah, sorry. You didn't exactly leave us with a choice," the Chosen One said. "Now, I can't gauge how strong you were before, but it doesn't look like you'll be of much help to us now. Tell us what information we want to know, and we'll be on our way." "Yes, of course," the man nodded. "What is it you seek?" Prime steps forward. "We want you to tell us if you know anything about a variant of ours, called the Fallen One." The man tilted his head, seemingly confused. "The who?" Prime scoffs and turns away. "This is a waste of time. We should go." The Chosen One walks forward and puts his hand on the man's shoulder. "The Fallen One. He's a bio-android clone of, well, me, from another universe. His directive as a contingency against the version of me in his home reality malfunctioned, and now he's going around the multiverse killing any variant of us he perceives as a threat. Now, do you know anything about him? Heard any rumors? Anything?" The man looks at the floor and sinks, almost in defeat. "I can't say I do. I know you may not believe me, but I myself used to be a very powerful cosmic being, and because of my influence, I suffered a devastating loss not long ago in my life. It led me to abandon my power and exile myself to a life of solitude in my home, and as you can see, I'm not much of a threat to anyone anymore, much less this Fallen One. I guess, judging by the fact that I'm still alive, it also feels that way too." The Chosen One sighed. "I see. Well, thank you for your information. Stay safe, I guess." He stands up as he walks toward the hole in the wall. "Wait!" The Chosen One turns. The man was reaching out to him with his frail hand. The Chosen One walks back to the man, grabbing his hand so as to prevent him from falling over. "There is something I require of you," the man says, weakly. The Chosen One looks at the man. "What do you need me to do?" The man says, eerily, "I need to die." Chapter 9. Battle of the Chosen. Earth 0326. The Solar Pad. The Chosen One stumbles away from the man and drops his hand in fear. "You need to... what?" The man looks at the Chosen One intensely, with longing in his eyes. "I have sinned, and I must be punished. Because of what I have done, I have imprisoned myself here, draining myself of my power. The only release I can face is death." The Chosen One looks away, closing his eyes and opening them as he replies, "I understand, but I can't kill you. How could you ask me to do that? Please, Chosen One, I beg of you," the man pleads. "No one has come close. I have tried, begged others. It has to be one of me." The Chosen One shakes his head. I can't. You're me. How can you ask me to kill myself?" Solar Flare eases closer to him. "Think of it like this. You're helping a frail old man reach the end of his life. One who has sinned, a villain. You stop villains, don't you? You save people. Save me. Kill me." "Ash," Lightspeed says, I don't like this." The Chosen One raises a hand at Lightspeed and slowly gestures for them to start backing out of the room. Mystic looks at the Chosen One. "He's obviously senile. We have things to attend to. Don't engage him." The Chosen One looks toward the frail man. Who did you lose?" Solar Flare looks to the floor as he replies regretfully, "Everyone." The Chosen One tilts his head. "How could you lose everyone? You said you lost someone important to you in search of power." "You do not understand, Chosen One," Solar Flare said. "When you were born, the universe celebrated. When I was born, the universe my universe, he trailed off. What happened? The Chosen One asked. The man hung his head. My birth killed my world. Everyone turned, looking at the man with contempt in their eyes. In an attempt to recreate the phenomenon that created you, I came to be in the heart of a massive supernova that erupted a little bit too close to my planet. It wiped out not just my planet, but every world in my galaxy, Solar Flare declares. From my inception, I was left alone, damned to fend for myself in this cold universe. I had no one, no friends, no family. My existence was pain, and all those good people I could have known, all those good lives I could have watched come to fruition, I will never know them now, because my birth killed them. I'm so sorry, the Chosen One assured him. I was meant to be a heavenly beacon of warmth and energy, but instead, I was a force of reckoning. So you see, my punishment to myself is death, in hopes I could see them, if there is an afterlife. Grant me that release. Allow me the life that these blasted creators of mine never could. The Chosen One sighed and placed his hand on the man's frail shoulder. I understand your argument. I turned rogue one time and killed more than I should have. I live with that every day, and therefore I feel your pain. But I can't kill you. You deserve to live. For them, it's what they would have wanted. He turns and begins to walk away. I bid you farewell, and stay protected from the Fallen One. The man smiles and looks down at the ground. He begins to mumble, You are mistaken. The Chosen One turns. Excuse me? The man says coldly, about what they would have wanted. The Chosen One's eyes widen as the man stands, seeming to have a new energy about him. What? He thinks. They would have wanted to live! The man envelops himself in golden yellow energy, his long beard flowing and his eyes glowing yellow. He levitates into the air as a shockwave of yellow energy explodes around the room, combusting his house and sending everyone reeling. The Chosen One flips around a couple of times, uprighting himself and floating in the air above where the house used to be. Lightspeed crashes through a wall and gets knocked out, buried under some rubble. Prime speeds over to him, breaking the pile with his super fists and lifting the rubble off of him. He then picks up the speedster and runs off into the forest. The Chosen One watches from the sky as the man floats out of the crater, remaining in the place of his home, enveloped in what seems like a ball of golden energy. If you won't kill me, Chosen One, you will be the one to die today. The man appears to become a living sun as the golden energy sphere envelops him completely. I am Solar Flare, the avatar of the sun god Ra, wielder of the solar flare of Barako, and you will not defy me. You talk too much, the Chosen One said. He flew at Solar Flare and tackled him to the ground, barreling him through the earth. Solar Flare laughed as he crashed through layer upon layer of rock. Is this all the great Chosen One has to offer me? I heard you have a power greater than that of gods. Tap into it. Use it to end me, or I will end you. Ah! The Chosen One shouted as he blasted Solar Flare with his heat vision. Solar Flare absorbed the energy and blasted the Chosen One back with his own yellow-gold solar vision. The Chosen One flew through the roof of the cave they had crashed into and landed into the wall of the old mountain that Solar Flare called home. Solar Flare floated out of the cave, laughing. My, and I thought you would suffice. The Chosen One panted and held his arm. Enough! How do you know about me? About us? Solar Flare playfully wagged his finger. That's not what you're here for. You came for information about the Fallen One. Yes, it seems I was not truthful about him either. The Chosen One stood, collecting himself. He reared his head, listening to the ramblings of the old man. Indeed, I have heard of the great killer who has been able to combat even the strongest of us. It's marvelous, really. A god above men, above others, being snuffed out as easily as he snuffs out other beings. It intrigued me, piqued my interest, Solar Flare shared intriguingly. Sure, it frightened me to all hell, but I knew it wouldn't come to find me if it wasn't sure what I was capable of. And that's where you come in. I want to die, yes, but not from that mindless, thoughtless thing. I have done many things deserving of death, but I do not want it quickly. I wanted to face another one of myself, see what potential the me's of the multiverse have to offer, to see if they stand a chance. I can't believe what I'm hearing, the Chosen One retorted. Solar Flare tilted his head, putting out his arm in a fight me gesture. Come now, it is merely an experiment, at the cost of my own life, but, in a way, it is saving more of myself, is it not? Seeing how you would fare against someone evenly matched. He smiles evilly, his eyes glowing golden. Enough, the Chosen One said, livid. If it's truly death you seek, fine. Ask, and you shall receive. The Chosen One growled and flew at Solar Flare. The celestial powerhouse laughed as he flew to meet his altar. They collided, flying around one another as they exchanged blows that shook the sky. Chapter 10. Limit Break. Earth 0326. Overworld. Prime slows to a stop in the clearing. Gently putting down light speed, he outstretches his hands above him. Glowing golden energy surrounds them as he waves them over the speedster's still body, healing his wounds with a low hum. Lightspeed jolts awake, white lightning bolts flickering rapidly in his eyes for a split second. Ugh! What happened? The speedster exclaimed. Am I dead? Prime smirked and replied, Not today, thanks to me. Mystic floats down beside them. This is not how I expected this to go. Solar Flare was listed as having no residual energy. How did he fool us all? Prime crossed his arms. It especially doesn't make sense, as he was cut off from the sun. His energy reserves should have been drained completely. Lightspeed holds his head as he stands. Do we have a power reading? How strong is he? Can Ash kill him? Mystic says pensively. He should be enough, but a celestial avatar might still outrank an alien demigod. Let's hope that he can pull through. They sit up and watch the battle unfold from the clearing. The Chosen One and Solar are neck and neck, seemingly evenly matched in power and speed. The Chosen One blasts him with his heat vision. Solar Flare summons a flurry of sunstrikes and homes them to the Chosen One. He dodges and weaves midair as he avoids the celestial downpour. You cannot stop me, Chosen One. To escape from here alive, you must kill me. The Chosen One calls back defensively. Your universe dying wasn't your fault. You mustn't blame yourself for it. There is no one else to blame. I have sinned, killed my universe. I must pay! Solar charges up his energy and blasts it out from his chest in a beam, aiming it at the Chosen One. He flies around to avoid it, but gets hit in his side, falling out of the sky. A huge gash in his side bleeds out as he falls to the ground. Landing hard, he creates a crater. Solar lands after him, grinning evilly and walking him down. The Chosen One holds out a hand. Wait! You seek an honorable death, don't you? Solar stops. Well, yes, I suppose so. Then face me right. No powers. Trial by combat. Solar looks at the Chosen One and bursts out in laughter. Look at yourself. The great Chosen One, bleeding from a mere gash in the side. You are in no condition to ask for trial by combat. The Chosen One speaks through gasping breaths and feels the wound in his side as it begins to close. Unbeknownst to Solar, he was slowly healing. Honor me this request. Trial by combat, to the death. It's what we both want. Solar sighs and agrees, putting up his hands. Very well. Stand ready. The Chosen One struggles to get up and holds his hands up in a weak fighting stance. He stands his ground, ready to bring the fight to Solar. Letting out a roar of triumph, he dashes over to Solar, who sidesteps him with ease. Stumbling to where he meant to land a blow, he turns in shock. Solar smirks and decks him twice in the face, knocking him over. The Chosen One holds his side, crawling backwards. This, says Solar Flare, disgusted. This is the all-powerful Chosen One's power? He kicks the Chosen One, flipping him over twice and dumping him on the ground. The Chosen One kneels over, coughing blood onto the dirt. Solar picks the Chosen One up and grabs him by the shirt. He begins to strike him repeatedly, bloodying him further and further with every strike. You will never be enough to beat me. The Chosen One crumbles to the ground, too weak to stand. As Solar Flare smiles to himself, he walks around the Chosen One, stalking him like a fresh catch. After all these years, I get to kill a chosen one. Solar raises his fist, poised to strike. Die well, boy. He swings downward towards the chosen one's unmoving face, when all of a sudden, clutch. Solar looks up at the chosen one's face with disbelief and shock. The chosen one, in a kneeling position, looks up to meet his gaze. Although it seemed his demeanor had changed. Gone was the conflict. Gone was the seeming look of defeat and exhaustion that he had had on previously, the utter lack of faith. Instead, there was fury. His eyes glowed orange, gleaming with purpose and direction. From afar, Mystic and the others gasp in shock and awe. Impossible, Mystic says. The chosen one stares at Solar with hatred and anger in his eyes. A fiery orange aura bursts out from somewhere deep in his being, enveloping his whole body and spreading to Solar, scalding him. Gusts of wind billow out from the epicenter as the other variants hold their hands up, shielding themselves. Solar screams in agony as the chosen one stands up slowly, his wounds closing and sealing instantaneously as he twists Solar's arm. Screaming in pain, Solar begs the chosen one for mercy and forgiveness. The chosen one bends his arm so far in the other direction that he rips it off with a crunch. Solar flare roars in agony, falling over as he clutches his armless stump. The chosen one moves to attack Solar so quickly that he is a blur to even light speed. Blow after blow he lands on Solar, shaking him with each hit. He finally hits him with a thunderous kick, sending him reeling. Solar rolls to a halt, now in the opposite position and situation to the chosen one. The chosen one seems to be moving completely on instinct, smoothly sliding to a stop and resetting his position before dashing to attack again. When the onslaught is done, he slowly walks over to Solar while he cowers on the floor. Solar backs away, spluttering out a statement. Wait! Your power! You were near death! Where did it come from? The chosen one just frowns at Solar, not even breaking a stride. He continues stepping to Solar, dead focused on him. Solar stares upon the celestial marvel in front of him, shocked at what he's witnessing. This power. What is he? The chosen one burns with intensity, literally and figuratively, as his flaming aura crackles and pops off of him. Resolve in his eyes, he bends down slightly and picks Solar up by the neck. Squirming in his arms, Solar struggles to get free, but the chosen one's grip is like an iron press. His hands suddenly start to glow with orange energy, and Solar begins to cry out, catching fire once again and burning alive. This is impossible! I'm resistant to all fire! How can I... Then it hit him. Primordial fire. Of course. This was the blessing the primordials granted the chosen one upon his creation. The primordial fire within. Shatterpoint. A million thoughts racing through his mind as he slowly burned to death. Solar closed his eyes. The chosen one looks at his enemy as he utters a sentence. No matter what you've done, I didn't want it to come to this. Still eyes closed, Solar utters one last phrase. Finish it, chosen one. The chosen one gripped harder. The fire on his hands burned so intensely that after some time they melted straight through Solar's neck, detaching his head from his still burning body. The headless corpse hit the ground with a thump as the chosen one gazed at the decapitated head in his hands for a couple of moments, forcing back tears after having killed one of himself. He took 2 fingers and closed Solar's eyes in a gesture of respect. Then he squeezed slightly, crushing the head in his hands with a meaty squelch. The fire surrounding him fades away, leaving char marks on his clothes and small flames lapping at them. He pats himself down, extinguishing the flames before they spread and burn off his clothes. The orange glint in his eyes disappears, and with it, the similar orange energy dissipates from his bloody hands. He stares at them in disbelief, clenching them into fists. Prime and Lightspeed run and fly over to him. Ash, Lightspeed said. Did you... It's done, the chosen one said flatly. Prime and Lightspeed looked at each other for the first time in longing and understanding. No time to waste. On to the next. The chosen one pushed past both of them and began to walk away, not looking at either of them. They hesitantly follow him as Mystic opens a portal and they all walk through it, unflinching. Earth M. The End. Meanwhile, Pyro sits on the floor of his prison cell, still suspended to the wall. The rogue and the fallen one enter the prison wing. the rogue seemingly excited about something in his hands, and the fallen one expressionless as always. "Chip, chip, old buddy, I brought you some food," the rogue exclaims, wagging a bag of Big Belly Burger in Piero's line of sight. "From back home. I got..." Piero lowers his hand after he shoots the bag out of the rogue's hands. The fallen one moves to Piero, but the rogue puts his arm in front of him. No need to get zappy. And you, no need to do that. You see, we need each other. Piero spits on the ground. "The man I called my friend is dead. I will never help you." The rogue laughs and wags his finger. "Never say never, old buddy. A foot soldier bursts into the room. "Sir, bad news." The rogue turns to talk to the grunt. He crosses his arms. "Well, out with it then." The soldier swallows. Unfortunately." "What is it?" the rogue said in a sing-song voice. "Well, it's about solar flare." "Go on." I just got word that he's dead." The soldier's head rolls up to Piero's cell as his body drops to the ground. The red of the rogue's eyes fades out to his regular brown, and smoke curls off of his eyes. "I should have known better than to recruit that fucking disgrace," the rogue mutters. "Can't even do a simple job." He smiles and claps his hands together as he turns to look at Piero. "Well, that was a doozy." Walking over to him, he stands right in front of the decapitated head of the guard. "I really do hope you'll reconsider your statement." He steps on the head and it pops with a crunch. Blood splatters on Piero as he cowers in fear and submission, who looks up at the rogue. He smiles evilly at Piero, the red glow of his heat vision fading in with eerie intensity. Chapter 11. The Chosen Son. Earth O224, Overworld, 2048. O224's time is 20 years ahead of O474. The portal opened a bit above the ground. Everyone exited on a familiar but barren planet. "Okay, we're here. Earth O224, Mystic said. "Let's hope this doesn't go like the last one," Lightspeed replied. "Let's hope," said the Chosen One flatly. "Mystic, search for the signature." "On it." He closed his eyes and searched around. "There's a signature coming from the hill, 2 clicks north." "Right. Let's head there then, shall we?" the Chosen One replies. "After you," Lightspeed says, then runs off. The Chosen One chuckles to himself, then takes off, flying over the horizon. Prime follows suit, and Mystic flies after them. They arrive at a facility in the hills. They see a young man sitting on the steps of a barn in the front yard. The Chosen One's eyes widened. "Is that? It's just a child," Mystic finishes. The Chosen One looks at themselves. "You guys, scout ahead. I don't think the me of this universe will trust another Chosen One. I'll stay here for reconnaissance. Prime, you're in charge." Prime nods. "Right." Mystic shakes his head and mutters, "I made the team." The Chosen One sighs. "No more delays. Go." The variants walk up to the compound, readying themselves. Lightspeed steps on a twig and the boy looks over at them. Lightspeed curses and they duck behind a bush. After some time, they peer out from behind it. The boy is nowhere to be seen. "Let's keep moving. I don't think he saw us," Mystic says. They almost reach the house when, "Don't take another step." A lean, 5'8" boy looks at them, eyes burning red. They all turn around, hands in front of their chests. "Who are you guys?" the boy starts. "And why do you look like my dad?" Lightspeed pipes up. "Hey, buddy. We're really good friends of your dad's." He looks over at Prime and mouths, "His dad's the Chosen One, isn't he?" Prime face palms, and Mystic steps forward, chiming in. "Yes, son. We are looking for your father. We need him for a mission." The boy looks at the ground, deactivating his heat vision. "Dad doesn't go on missions anymore. Not since it attacked." They all look at each other, silence dragging in the wind. The Chosen One watches from a distance as the Variashes get confronted by the mysterious boy. He debates going over, when, "Hello? Hello?" The Chosen One stops. "Who's speaking?" he replies in his head. The voice calls back, "Ash, is that you?" "How do you know my name?" "All right, I did get the right one. Ash grunts. You didn't answer my... The voice cuts him off. No time. I need to explain quickly. I fear I don't have much time left. Don't have much time left? Where are you? I'm in the end. On Earth M. It's where he's keeping me. I need you to listen to me, though. I was friends with the other you. He's different now. He's completely unhinged and working with his contingency to destroy the multiverse. I won't be able to help you much, as I'm significantly weakened, but I can maybe provide you an edge against them. They need to be stopped. They usually work in a corridor far below my sector. I fear they have something else far worse in store. The Chosen One looked pointedly. All right, I'll see what I can do. Okay, I'm counting on you. The mind call disconnects. I hate it when they say that. The Chosen One grumbles to himself. Meanwhile, the Variashes and the boy sit around a campfire. Prime stays away from the group, leaning against a tree. Mystic places a hand on the boy's shoulder. Now, my boy, you mentioned your father hasn't gone on mission since someone attacked. If you don't mind me asking, what happened to him? And who was the attacker? Hesitantly, the boy began to share. Well, my dad became unstable after the person attacked. It killed my mother, right in front of him. He was never the same after that. And in terms of the being, we don't speak its name. My dad always told me it might come back. Mystic looks into the boy's eyes. You need not worry. You can tell us. Even if it does come back, we'll protect you. The boy smiles. Thanks, wizard guy. Mystic chuckles back at him. Now how did you know I was a wizard? The boy gestures to his robes. Singe marks, and I can smell a faint burn on you. This specific smell only comes from eldritch magic. Mystic pats the boy on the back. You're a perceptive one, you are. The boy smiles. My name's Ace. Mystic replies back. Mine's... We don't have time for introductions. Hurry this up, guys. The Chosen One steps out from the back of the crowd. We're tight on time as it is. We need to speak to the boy's father. I've just learned some important information, and we need to move. Now. Ace looks over at the Chosen One and instantly furrows his brow. What the fuck is he doing here? He flares his heat vision and stands up. The Chosen One sighs and stands relaxed. Look, kid, I've been through a lot today. You don't want to do this. The boy balls his fists. What you've been through? I don't care what you've been through. You've got a lot of nerve showing up here after what you did to us. The Chosen One raises his hands. What I did? Kid, I don't even... Ace? What's all that? A sideburn graying man, wearing a buttoned-down red flannel, with the sleeves rolled up, steps out of the house, awoken from all the noise. He looks at the Chosen One. The Chosen One looks at him. You. Chapter 12. The Father. Earth 0224, Overworld. Something inside the man snaps. He moves at breakneck speeds, tackling the Chosen One and dragging him on the ground. I'll kill you for what you've done to her! The man screams, spittle flying out of his mouth. The Chosen One kicks the father off of him, both of them rolling in the dirt. The father rolls and lands in a crouch position, kneeling on the ground. He looks up at the Chosen One and growls. The orange glints in his eyes get picked up by the Chosen One, and white particles float away from his body. The Chosen One looks back at the older version of himself, raising his hands. I didn't kill your wife, he said. Rah! The father growled. He ran at him with speeds that the Chosen One couldn't clock. The Chosen One's accelerated perception barely let him dodge. What is this power? Can it be? He dodged another attack and felt the whish of the father's fist. He blocked another attack with his forearm and pushed his alternate self away from him, his hands raised in defense. The father growled at him, feral and unstable. Listen, it was not me who killed her. At one time, I loved her too. The father stopped and stood upright. How could you possibly? You monster! The Chosen One sighs. There was a version of her on my Earth. I was neglectful, irresponsible. I was never home, never there. She couldn't handle it anymore, and she walked out on me. I could have avoided it all, but I didn't. I let her leave me. The father listened to his younger self, seeming more intrigued. But you had what I didn't. A life, a family. And I'm sorry that another version of us, his mistakes, indirectly caused you to lose that. But you have to understand, that isn't me. He stepped closer to the father, hands still raised. The father's head dropped, and he seemed to lose all his power. The Chosen One put a hand on his shoulder and held him close. They embraced, holding each other. The father, still with his head down, said, "You're right." The Chosen One tensed up as the father held him tighter. "What?" "Even if you didn't kill her, it is your fault." The father slowly looked up, his eyes blank and pulsing with blood vessels. The Chosen One's eyes went wide, and he pushed back, fluttering his eyes red. "Ash, wait! What are you doing?" he asked hurriedly. The father broke into a stance. "Avenging our wife." He charged at an unforeseen speed at the Chosen One when both Chosen Ones gasped as a figure stood in between them. Ace strained as he held both the fists of his father and his counterpart. "Enough, both of you," he bellowed. He knocked out his father with a neck chop and kicked the Chosen One away. The Chosen One rolled on the ground, lying down. Ace looked at the rest of the gang. "Handle your friend. Bring him back to the campsite. I'll meet you there, where we'll talk." He dashed his father into the house and then closed the door. Everyone looked at each other. "Well, that could have gone better," Lightspeed jabbed. He sped over to the Chosen One and tried to help him up, but he shook him off and got to his feet. "What the hell was that power?" the Chosen One grumbled. "It looked like Shatterpoint." The Chosen One looked over at Mystic. "Mine never did that. It's impossible. It can't be." Mystic slouched. "You forget that the you of this timeline has been active for many more years than you, and coactively gone through a lot more than you have. His trauma probably intensified his Shatterpoint. It also makes him lose his mind," the Chosen One says. "That much outflux of power misused will probably kill him. I could make use of that the next time we fight." Mystic crossed his arms. "You do remember we are meaning to recruit these guys, right?" The Chosen One glanced at Mystic. "Just a point to keep note of." Mystic sighed. "Anyway, we don't have time to keep reality hopping. We need to at least recruit the Chosen One of this universe. Him, as it so seems, to join us. That boy has some hidden power as well. I bet you saw him subdue his own father. Granted, the move was unexpected and sudden, but he could still prove a worthy asset." Chapter 13. Backstory. Earth O224, Overworld. Sometime later, the Chosen One and the gang wait for Ace and his father by the fire pit. After some time, they turn as the door opens, and Ace steps out of the house, arriving with his father in tow. The Chosen One crosses his arms, looking at the boy. "So, you're ready to talk." Ace looks at his alternate father. "Yeah, I am." He turns as he gestures to his father. He is, too. The father looks at the Chosen One and growls. The Chosen One looks back, ready for anything. Lightspeed pipes in. "Great. Well, let's start with the whole we hate Ash thing. What's that about?" The father takes a slight step forward. Ace holds him back, saying, "Don't worry, Dad. I got this." He turns to the group. "It all started 4 years ago, when I was 10. The scene melts into a flashback. Ace is shown as a 10-year-old walking with his mother, Leah. They had just come back from a day out shopping. I had come with my mother to go shopping. We were on the way home when that thing came. My powers had been slowly manifesting, so I thought I could put up a fight. But it wasn't enough. They beat me within an inch of my life, looking for my father. And then, scenes of Ace using his newly manifested powers to fight the two Chosen One lookalikes show as his leg is broken and he is kicked to the side. He's picked up by the rogue and held in a restraining position by the back of his head, forced to watch his mother be manipulated by the Fallen One's telekinesis. Ace closed his eyes. A tear streaked down his cheek as he continued the story. That monster asked his escort to torture my mother, all because I didn't tell him where my father was. He beat me damn near to death and made me watch as he brutally killed her, knowing I was powerless to stop it. I tried my best, but I couldn't." Ace broke down crying, hitting a big rock with a hammer fist and breaking it in half. His father looked away, not being able to bear his son like this. The Chosen One reached out to comfort his alternate son, but couldn't bring himself to do it. He recoiled his hand and instead just looked at him with pity. "I collapsed. I lost control. After they did it, it was like something awakened in me. A new strength that, until then, I had never seemed to have." He looks at the Chosen One, who nods, understanding. Ace continues the story. "I charged at them, punching every inch of flesh I could reach. I took an arm off of that lifeless monster, and I almost disabled it then and there, but I tossed it aside and went for the rogue. I don't think he was expecting what came next, because he let it happen. Either that was his pathetic attempt to feel something, or he just didn't think I was strong enough to do the job. Although, I saw it in him. As I was wailing on him and I began to make him bleed, he started to show fear, and I felt good. I didn't want to stop. Blow after blow, and the whole ground was shaking. And then, everyone looked on, intrigued. I got a message from my mother, beyond the grave, telling me she didn't want to see me like this. So I grabbed that devil, headbutted him, and threw him off to the side. He was bloodied and beaten, and I could have ended him right there, but Ace closed his eyes. I told him to leave instead, and never come back. He took his partner with him and went through a portal, saying we'd see each other again, and that was the last time I saw him. Ace dashes over to his mother's body after having beaten the rogue to an inch of his life. He cradles her body and cries, begging for her death to not be true. Tears stream down Ace's face. I couldn't bear to see her like that. It broke me. Ace's eyes begin to glow red, and he wails as he lets his newly awakened heat vision shoot out of his eyes toward the sky. He shuts it off, leaning onto his mother's body and crying there for many hours. As Ace completes the story, he looks at the group, shuddering. So, that's why we attacked you. We thought you were them, that they had come back to finish the job. The Chosen One put a hand on Ace's shoulder, which had been hovering there for a while. I'm so sorry to hear that. Truly. And we will avenge your mother. But we need to ask you if there's anything you learned about these adversaries, anything that could help us to destroy them. Ace shuffled off the Chosen One's hand and walked slightly away from him, wiping his nose with his sleeve. I'm not going to be much help for you there. I got as lucky as I did trying to beat him then, and there's no telling how strong they are now. I've gotten stronger too, sure, but it's been a long time, even on that front, and who knows how long it's been in their universe. All I know is that one of them is exactly like you, but insane, and the other looks like you, but emotionless and telekinetic. It'll take literally all of us to even come close to killing them, and even then, we don't know what they have planned or up their sleeves. There's a very good chance that some of us don't make it out of this alive. So, we take that chance, Prime says. The Chosen One nods and crosses his arms. We need a game plan, Ace said. Allow us to prepare, and you'll have us. Meet us by the campfire. The Chosen One said, We'll do you one better. Do you have a lounge? Ace smiled and said, You know where to find us. They dashed off into their house, and the rest of the gang looked at the Chosen One. What does he mean, you know where to find us? Lightspeed prodded. We just met them. Trust me, the Chosen One said. Everyone get prepared, then come to meet me. I'll take you to them. A montage ensues as the gang gets geared up. Mystic adjusts his sling ring. Lightspeed pulls up his shoes. Prime envelops his fists and throws some punches. The Chosen One rolls up his flannel sleeves. They all walk to him, and he smiles as he surveys his team. All right, everyone. This is it. It's time to make real change. The torment of the Doom Force ends today. Amen, says Lightspeed. You all understand, like the kid said. Some of us may not make it out, the Chosen One says. If you are not okay with that, speak up now. No one speaks. Good. Everyone, hold on to me. They all stretch their hands to place onto the Chosen One's back. Don't let go, he says. What is he about to do? Says Lightspeed. I don't like that. They teleport away with a whoop and reappear into a dark oak hallway. A big brown door opens up, revealing the father and Ace waiting for them. Ace turns and smirks. About time you showed. Chapter 14. The Confrontation. Earth 0224, the Father's Lounge. The Chosen One walks into the doorframe with his team. Right, there are 6 of us, and 2 of them. Before I share my insight, does anyone have any strategies, game plans, or ideas? Mystic chimes in. I can use my astral form to scope out enemies. Best believe there will be a lot of foot soldiers. Me and Lightspeed can take them out. No, they look at the Chosen One. Ground support is important, but it shouldn't be your main focus. I agree you two should be a team, but you can each take out the ground defenses in a very short time. Dispose of them, then I have a task for you. Mystic adjusted his posture. Go on then, share it. The Chosen One tensed. While I was away from the group, I received a vision of sorts. There was someone talking in my mind. A friend, a pupil of mine, I believe, from the Rogues universe. Which did you say? I believe it was 0910. Mystic looked in interest. It can't be. They asked me to free them. I'll be fighting the rogue, so I need you two to do it. If he was trained by a version of me, he could be an asset to us. Mystic nods. Understood, Mystic said. Lightspeed jabs. Well, isn't someone confident? The Chosen One looked at him. Lightspeed gulped and retained focus, standing ready. You got it, boss. Lightspeed agreed, nodding. The Chosen One turned to Prime. Prime, you... Prime places a hand on the Chosen One's shoulder. Chosen One, I downplayed you before. In my hubris, I felt you were unfit to lead us. I see now that I couldn't have been more wrong. The Chosen One stares blankly. Thank you, the Chosen One says, confused. Prime places a hand over his heart. Please, call me Aurelios. The Chosen One smacks his head. That's right. I've never even asked your name. Aurelios smiles. Well, that's kind of a mouthful. I'll call you Or. That's okay, right? The Chosen One says. That'll do, Aurelios says. Right. Or, I need you as my support. The two of us should be enough to take out the rogue. You'll have me, brother, Aurelios says, nodding. I don't know what you all will do, but I must be the one to kill the Fallen One. Everyone looked at the father, who spoke for the first time since he attacked the Chosen One. That thing has caused me and my son extreme suffering. We will be the ones to face it in battle. The Chosen One steps to his alternate self. I thank you for agreeing to fight with us. I understand the internal conflict you're facing. The father looks on at his younger self with a fire burning in his eyes. There is no conflict, says the father, just untapped fury for that monster. The Chosen One places his hand on the father's shoulder. Defeating them won't bring you the peace you seek, but it will bring you closure. That I can guarantee. The father nods as he acknowledges his younger self. Let us hope it does. I fear my condition takes a toll on me. I may not live to get a second chance to avenge her. The Chosen One agrees. All of them. He lets go of the father's shoulder and walks over to the front of the room. All right, everyone. The time is approaching. We've fought, we've bled, we've lost. More than we ever should have. But we're still here. We're still standing. And now we're taking the fight to them. His gaze sweeps over the eager faces of himself. The Rogue and the Fallen One have spent countless years tearing the multiverse apart, slaughtering entire worlds, and bending fate to their will. They've burned everything in their path, killing many of us mercilessly because they see a threat. But they made one mistake. They left us alive. His fists clench at his sides, his voice steady but filled with fire. It's possible we lose ranks. It's possible we aren't enough. But this ends today. One way or another, we finish this. No more running. No more waiting. No more falling into their hands. We fight as one. We fight for the fallen, and we don't stop. Until the Rogue and the Fallen One are nothing more than space dust. The room is silent for a moment, heavy with the weight of what's to come. Then slowly, one by one, heads nod, fists tighten. Everyone begins to move back and forth as they are roused by the Chosen One's speech. Prime punches his hand. We're with you, brother. Lightspeed's eyes flicker with white lightning. Till the end. The father and Ace clench their fists in preparation. Mystic steps forward, his hands glowing with his eldritch magic. What are we waiting for then? Let's finish this. His sling ring glints as he spins his arms around. A swirling portal of orange eldritch energy forms before them, crackling with power. The Chosen One turns to face his team one last time before stepping forward. For the multiverse. They step through the portal, heading into the end. Chapter 15. The End. Earth M. The End. The orange eldritch portal tears open in the shattered ruins of the End, crackling as it deposits the weary yet determined heroes onto the battlefield. The Chosen One steps forward, his eyes scanning the ruined landscape with his X-ray vision, taking in the sight of the wreckage. All right, we'll split up. Lightspeed, take Mystic, and the Chosen One begins, but a slow clapping interrupts him. Well, 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 the rogue's voice rings out, booming with amusement. The guardians of time. Took you long enough. I was beginning to think you'd never show. Prime turns and activates his fists. You've got a lot of nerve being all humorous. The Chosen One faces his alternate self, his eyes narrowing. Big talk from a coward who hides behind destruction. This ends today. Mystic steadies himself. We came prepared. We know what you've been doing. The massacres, the culling of entire worlds. The rogue grins. Then you must know, it's far past too late to stop me. The Chosen One and the rogue stare each other down, breathing heavily. What you've done is inexcusable, but it's not retractable, Ash, the Chosen One says, his voice firm. You can still turn back. Help us fix what you've done. The rogue smirks. Fix what I've done? Turn back. Look around you, Chosen One. The multiverse was already broken. I'm just pruning the branches. The Chosen One grits his teeth. Don't you see? We're meant to protect the multiverse, not destroy it. The Chosen One shouts. You're only convincing yourself of this lie to justify your actions. But deep down, you know the truth. You've only forgotten. The rogue shakes his head. The truth? Do not speak to me of the truth. The truth is that we're weapons, and I'm the only one who accepts that. You're the one in denial. You always have been. Weapons? That's what you think we are? That's what you let yourself become? The Chosen One clenches his fists. There's always a choice. I know your story. You were a hero. The rogue smirks. Convincing me is pointless, Chosen One. Enough of us have fallen, and the multiverse purge is nearly complete. Soon, the Zero MCM plan will reach its final stage. Zero MCM plan? The Chosen One narrows his eyes. You name your atrocities now? Why even tell me all of this? The rogue laughs, shaking his head. Because, Chosen One, I've already won. There's no need to hide the truth anymore. You see, this was never just about purging our variants. There's something greater at play here. Deep in this facility, within our lab, lies the absolute culmination of our power, the ultimate one. A being unlike any other, an entity with my physiology, the Fallen One's powers, and strength beyond comprehension. The Chosen One tenses. That's impossible. How could something like that even exist? Because of us. The rogue takes a step forward, his voice brimming with twisted satisfaction. Our biology, our power, it's adaptive. We are conduits of destruction, meant to absorb and harness the abilities of our kind. The rogue chuckles darkly, pacing around the Chosen One. As you claim to know, I wasn't always like this. I too thought I was a hero once, but after seeing the ruin I left in my wake, the destruction I caused, I finally understood. We're not meant to protect. We're meant to destroy. Chosen Ones don't save the world. They cleanse it. The Chosen One steps back, shocked at the revelation. He listens on to the rogue's horrid proposal, unable to speak. We are the bane of existence itself, wiping away the weak so only the strongest survive. We don't get to choose. It's what we are. The rogue steps in the other way and paces again, turning away from the Chosen One. In light of this revelation, the Fallen One and I simply combined our knowledge and abilities to create something unstoppable. And how, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you that too. We use that capability, feeding off powerful, what did you call them? Variashes, draining their life force to forge the ultimate weapon. Except, there's also a bit of a twist. We took a little bit more. The Chosen One's eyes widened. You can't mean... The rogue smiles evilly, pacing with the Chosen One. Yes, our little guest has provided some vital findings for this project. I'm sure you two have been acquainted, yes? The Chosen One clenches his fists, shaking his head. No, I don't believe you. You're lying. You wouldn't. He was your friend. The rogue smirks. Why don't you ask your friend there to prove my legitimacy? The rogue gestures toward Mystic, who averts his eyes. He knows. He knows what every Chosen One becomes. Every single one of us turns eventually. We all break. We all go rogue. It's our destiny. The Chosen One whirls to Mystic. Tell me he's lying, Mystic. Tell me this isn't true. Mystic hesitates before speaking softly. I didn't want you to know, but it's true. Every version of you, every single one, eventually you fall. It's a multiversal truth, and it can't be avoided. Something cracks inside the Chosen One. His breathing grows heavy, and his eyes darken with rage. With a roar, he lashes out at Mystic, striking him with a back fist with enough force to send him crashing into the rubble behind him. Blood drips from Mystic's mouth as he groans in pain. The Chosen One stares at his own hands, his body shaking. Prime looks at the Chosen One. What did you just do? The rogue steps closer, his voice a dark whisper. Attaboy. You're becoming what you're destined to be. I did. Your alternate self on Earth 0326 did. That little outburst against Mystic, that was the first step. It's inevitable. You turn against all your friends, and they get in your way, so you kill them, one by one, in pursuit of killing me. By the time you realize what you've done, it's too late, and when the dust clears, all that's left is you. Lightspeed cries out, Ash, that isn't you. He's trying to get in your head. The Chosen One exhales shakily, his fury battling against the creeping darkness. He clenches his fists, forcing himself to breathe. Finally, he speaks, his voice low and resolute. Ashton, take Mystic. Go find Pyro. Now. Lightspeed hesitates, then nods, lifting Mystic's unconscious body onto his shoulder before vanishing in a blur of speed. The Chosen One turns to Prime. Or, find the Ultimate One. Destroy it. Leave no trace. Prime nods, though his face betrays his unease. With a burst of wind, he flies off. The Chosen One turns back to the rogue, his eyes flaring red as his voice filled with malice. And your reign on the multiverse will come to an end. By my last breath, you won't leave this place alive. The rogue grins, spreading his arms. Big words, but can you back them up? Come and find out, Chosen One. They charge at one another, fists colliding with thunderous force, and the final battle begins. Chapter 16, The Lost One. Earth M, The End. Lightspeed's heart pounded in his chest, the jagged terrain nothing more than a blur beneath his feet. The wind whished past his ears as he sprinted through the battlefield with Mystic slumped over his shoulder. His mind was still reeling from what he'd just witnessed, the sheer force of the blow from the Chosen One that had sent Mystic flying. He shoved the thoughts aside. Focus. The sorcerer was barely breathing. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, his energy flickering like a dying ember. No, Lightspeed muttered, skidding to a halt in a relatively safe spot among the wreckage. Lightspeed's hands trembled as he pressed his fingers to Mystic's neck. A weak but steady pulse thrummed in his veins. He wasn't gone just yet. Don't do this to me, man. A flicker of eldritch energy crackled in Mystic's fingertips, but it was faint, barely there. Lightspeed hesitated only for a second before acting. He rubbed his hands together, generating kinetic energy, and placed them over Mystic's chest. Focusing his speed into controlled bursts, he vibrated his hands, delivering rapid compressions at superhuman speed and pausing only to rub his hands together again. Static crackled in the air as his light force energy surged through Mystic's body. Come on, wake up! Lightspeed growled, his voice breaking. A jolt ran through Mystic's body, then another. All of a sudden, on about the 16th jolt, he gasped, eyes snapping open as he lurched forward, coughing violently. Lightspeed let out a breath of relief, his hands still shaking. There he is. You scared the shit out of me, man. Mystic groaned, clutching his chest. Ugh. I feel like I got hit by a... Oh, wait. I did. Lightspeed smirked, looking at the ground. Sense of humor still intact. His smile dropped as his voice fell into seriousness. Can you sense Pyro? We gotta move. Fast. Mystic, still weak, closed his eyes and reached out with his eldritch senses. For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, faint, like a slight draft of wind, a voice, barely a whisper, rang out. Weak, struggling. Here. Dungeons. Mystic's eyes fluttered open. He's close. Down below, but he's fading fast. Lightspeed's expression hardened. Then that's where we're going. He stepped over to the sorcerer, tilting his head reservedly as he looked at him. I know you don't like this, but we gotta go, and there's not much else of a way for me to take you. Mystic sighed. Do what you must. In an instant, Lightspeed hoisted Mystic onto his shoulder and took off, weaving through the wreckage. They reached a darkened stairwell leading into the depths of the end, the air thick with dampness and decay. Lightspeed's feet barely made a sound as he slowed, stepping carefully. Then they found him. Pierogi PL was barely clinging to life, slumped against the wall of his cell. His body was a mess of bruises and cuts. His once powerful, vibrant purple void energy flickered around him, weak and unstable. Mystic wasted no time. Pushing past his pain, he staggered forward, hands glowing with eldritch runes. A soft orange light bathed Piero's broken body, sealing wounds and stabilizing his breathing. Piero coughed, his eyes fluttering open. "Well, you look like shit," Lightspeed said. Piero exhaled a weak laugh. "Yeah, I feel worse." He groaned as he shifted, wincing. How did you find me?" Mystic sat back, catching his breath. "I heard your voice. Barely. You're lucky we got here when we did. Can you move?" Piero exhaled, trying to sit up. "Yeah. Who else is here?" Lightspeed nodded. "The team's fighting the rogue and the fallen one." Piero's eyes narrowed. "The team?" Mystic said. "The chosen one from Earth 0474, the father from Earth 0224, and his son Ace. Ash is fighting the rogue, and the father and Ace are fighting the fallen one." Piero's expression darkened. "If you think that's enough, you're wrong," he rasped. "Unless the four of them work together, they don't stand a chance." Lightspeed looked confused. "The four?" Piero nodded. "The rogue was once a chosen one. If they can convince him to, he can help them defeat that thing." Lightspeed shook his head. "I've seen that monster. He's not gonna fight with us. But Ash requested we come free you. We need you. That's why we're here." He stepped forward, gripping Piero's chains. "Now, let's get you out of..." A sharp beep made his stomach drop. Lightspeed's eyes darted down. Small blinking red lights lined the edges of the shackles. Trip mind. Oh, shit. Before he could react, the entire cell detonated. Time and reality stretched into slow motion as Lightspeed activated his advanced accelerated perception. Light time. Every fraction of a second stretched into eternity. Lightspeed opened his eyes, which he didn't notice he had closed, and lowered his hands, which he didn't know he had raised. The explosion bloomed outward, fire and shrapnel expanding like a monstrous flower, the shockwave tearing through the dungeon. Lightspeed looked around at the two heroes standing still in the cell. If he didn't act now, they were all dead. "Move. Now." He walked over to the two heroes standing in suspended animation, grabbed and placed Mystic over his shoulder, then grabbed Piero by his shirt. "Sorry, dude." With a crack of his neck, he took off with a burst of speed. Piero's chains shattered off of the wall as the world blurred past him and the cell combusted behind him. The entire structure collapsing in a fiery cascade. He tore through the tunnels, the shockwave chasing him like death itself. He emerged from the dungeon entrance just as the tunnels caved in behind him. He skidded to a stop, heart pounding, lungs burning. He barely registered the smoke and dust settling around them, only that they were alive. He lowered Mystic and Piero as he sucked in desperate breaths. "Whew! That was way too close," Lightspeed said, panting. Piero coughed, still catching his breath. "You have got to warn a guy before pulling something like that." Lightspeed laughed as he phased hand cut Piero's hand restraints. I know, I'm sorry. Spur of the moment thing." Mystic groaned. "For someone who moves as fast as you really are slow. Next time, check for bombs before you touch things." Lightspeed shook his head, already back on his feet. "Will do, boss. Now, no time to rest. We've got to regroup with the rest of the team." Piero exhaled, his eyes steeling with resolve. "Lead the way, compadre." Chapter 17. The Rogue's Return. Earth M. The End. Back on the battlefield, the Fallen One moves with terrifying precision. Every strike it delivers sends shockwaves through the ruined landscape. The Father, despite his immense power, is forced onto the defensive, his limitless energy struggling against the sheer force of the Fallen One's assault. Ace fights with reckless determination, darting between strikes and landing blows that would stagger any regular opponent. But the Fallen One barely reacts. "Stay sharp, Ace," the father barks, narrowly deflecting a blow aimed at his son. Ace grits his teeth and surges forward, his eyes burning with fiery red energy. "Thanks. I owe you one." He leaps, spinning midair, and drives a devastating back kick into the Fallen One's chest. The impact echoes like thunder, sending the Fallen One skidding back. But the bio-android recalibrates instantly and lunges again, unfazed. Meanwhile, On the other side of the battlefield, the Chosen One and the Rogue are locked in a brutal, unforgiving brawl. Their punches crack bone, their kicks send each other flying. Blood stains the shattered ground as they trade devastating blows, neither willing to let up. "The variants dying are you too," the Chosen One shouts between blows, blocking a vicious strike before countering with an explosive punch to the Rogue's ribs. "Surely you feel some type of remorse. Come on, help me save them." The Rogue spits blood, grinning through the pain. "You don't get it, do you?" He dodges, slipping past the Chosen One's defenses and delivering a bone-crushing uppercut. "It's too late for me." He follows up with a brutal flurry of blows, sending the Chosen One reeling. "I crossed that line a long time ago." Blow after blow they throw, catching each other at each turn. They throw a simultaneous punch, hitting each other in the face. They both stagger, stumbling backwards. Through the pain, the Chosen One forces himself to stand. His vision blurs, but his determination does not waver. The Rogue looks on, holding his hands in a fighting stance. "You can't possibly be this stubborn," the Chosen One growls. "What happens when the Fallen One doesn't need you anymore?" He wipes blood from his lip. "Do you really think you're safe?" The Rogue pauses for half a second, just long enough for the Chosen One to see the doubt flicker in his eyes. "You think you're in control," the Chosen One presses, taking a step forward despite his battered body. "But the Fallen One has no loyalty. It was created to complete a directive, nothing more. Once it's done, you'll be next. You think it cares about what you want?" The Rogue's breathing quickens. His fingers twitch. The internal doubt begins to surface as he considers the Chosen One's words. "Shut up!" he yells, striking the Chosen One. His alternate version falls to the ground, crawling. He looks up, blood dripping from his mouth. "Don't let it get to that point. All this time, you were alone with it. But together, we can defeat it." And with that, something activates in the Rogue. In a final moment of defiance, he makes his choice. With a roar, the Rogue spins on his heel and launches himself at the Fallen One. They crash through a wall, and the father stops, confused. "What is the meaning of this?" he asks. The Chosen One looks at him, out of breath. I convinced him that he's only a ticking time bomb, that it's only a matter of time before the Fallen One comes after him, too. The father looks blankly, not able to give an answer. Ace says, "So, he's with us now? We're just supposed to forgive and forget?" "I don't expect you to forgive him, but he might be able to tip the scales in our favor, and we might actually come out of this alive," the Chosen One says. "Trust me, please." The father growls and reactivates his limitless form. In an echoing deep voice, he says, "I'm having a hard time doing so, but I'll oblige. Know this, if he does anything out of turn, I'll kill him without a second thought. You best not get in the way, for your own good." The Chosen One nods. "You have my word that I won't interfere." Chapter 18. Turning Point. Earth M. The End. The Rogue struggles with the Fallen One, gritting his teeth as the bio-android's cold, unfeeling hands inch closer to his heart. Every fiber of his being strains against the overwhelming strength of the mechanical monstrosity, but he can feel himself slipping. All of a sudden, a blur collides into the Fallen One, knocking it away from the Rogue with bone-shattering force. The ground quakes as the impact sends shockwaves through the battlefield. The bio-android skids across the wreckage, mechanical limbs sparking, its lifeless, expressionless face tilting up to identify its attacker. The father stands, his muscles hyperflexed, body pulsing with the golden-orange fire of limitless energy. His breath is slow, drawing in and out, and his eyes burn white-hot, the irises completely eclipsed by raw power. "Your fight is with me, damnation," the father utters, his voice stern and commanding. The Rogue coughs, staggering to his feet as the Chosen One lands beside him. Ace drops down next to his father, the four Universal Warriors forming a horizontal wall as they face down the Fallen One. The Fallen One dashes towards the group, and twin beams of searing heat vision lance through the air as the Chosen One and the Rogue unleash their combined might upon the Fallen One, forcing it back under the relentless onslaught. Simultaneously, Ace and the father close the distance, fists crashing into its body like meteors, each impact sending tremors through the battlefield. The Fallen One counters with inhuman precision, weaving between attacks with mechanical efficiency, but it falters under the sheer force of the assault. It lashes out, but the Rogue intercepts the strike meant for the Chosen One, his body racked with pain as he forces the bio-android back. Ace strikes faster than ever before, his movements blurring with sheer intensity. He roars as he drives a devastating upset punch into the Fallen One's core, causing it to stagger. As the battle rages, The four Universals unleash everything they have against the Fallen One, but the bio-android refuses to fall. Its adaptive programming allows it to counter their attacks with terrifying precision, striking with inhuman efficiency. The Chosen One grits his teeth as he dodges a devastating blow. It's learning too fast. We can't keep up. The rogue, his breath ragged, wipes blood from his mouth. Then switch up your attack patterns. We come at it harder. Ace surges forward, determination in his every movement. He throws a flurry of hyperspeed strikes, blows landing like bullet fire. For a moment, he seems to gain the upper hand, until the Fallen One raises its arm. Ace freezes mid-attack. His breath catches in his chest as an invisible force wraps around his body like a vice. The bio-android's telekinesis tightens, constricting his limbs, his chest, and his lungs. His vision blurs as pain erupts through his entire body. The father's heart stops. The scene before him, the helpless struggle, the agonized gasps, flashes in his mind. Ace isn't just his son at this moment. He's her. The father grimaces as he sees his wife, Ace's mother, Leah, trapped in the same unbreakable grip. He sees her from his son's eyes, hears her screams through his ears, feels her life being crushed away while he stood, powerless to save her. No, not again. Not ever. Chapter 19. Awakening. Earth M. The End. The father lets out a divine roar. A golden-orange inferno erupts from the father's body as his limitless power flares beyond its known limits. The air distorts, cracks forming beneath his feet as pure energy radiates from him in volatile waves. His body screams in protest, but his mind is made up. With a thunderous roar, he vanishes in a blur, reappearing in front of the Fallen One in an instant. His fist collides with its core, the sheer impact forcing it to release Ace as it's sent careening through the ruins. Ace collapses, gasping for air, but the father doesn't look back. His blazing white eyes lock onto the bio-android as he steps forward, every movement shaking the battlefield. "You will not take him from me!" he declares. The Fallen One rises, its body regenerating, adapting. Its sensors scan him, recognizing the unprecedented power surging from his form. But there is no countermeasure, because there is no surviving this. The father surges forward, golden flames spiraling around him as he attacks with unrelenting force. Each strike lands with the force of a collapsing star, pushing the Fallen One further and further back. The father does not let up. His blows become faster, more vicious, more devastating. Every fiber of his being is unleashed, every ounce of his power burning at full capacity. He knows the cost, but he does not hesitate. This is what must be done. The heat around him becomes unbearable, the very air distorting from the sheer force of his limitless power. Cracks begin to form along his arms, his body struggling to contain the godlike energy coursing through him. The Chosen One watches, realization dawning in his eyes. He's burning everything. He's not stopping. The rogue's expression hardens. He's going to end this, even if it kills him. Ace forces himself to his feet, his body trembling, eyes wide with horror, realization dawning upon him. He cries out, "No! Dad, please! Stop!" The father grits his teeth, his voice strained but unwavering. "Listen to me, Ace. You have to live. You have to be better. Better than me. You have to be free." His energy reaches its peak, a blinding orange inferno. Energy crackles violently around his body, his very form beginning to fracture as his power exceeds the limits of existence itself. But Dad!" Ace exclaims through tears. I can't live without you." "You'll be fine, my son. This is necessary for you. It will make you stronger." Ace cries, "Please, Dad, don't do this." "Goodbye, my son. I love..." The power of the attack detonates in a cataclysmic shockwave, consuming both combatants in blinding orange light. Everyone shields their eyes as the light protrudes out. When the light fades, the father is nowhere to be found. A huge crater stands where he once was, smoke and energy rising out of it. Ace stands frozen, his mind unable to process what has just happened. His father, his protector, his guide, was gone. Ace falls to his knees as he cries out. The Chosen One walks up to the young half-universal and places a hand on his shoulder. Noticing something, the rogue cries out, "Look! Walking towards us!" They all look up in awe and disbelief. The Fallen One, broken, but still functional, walks slowly out of the crater towards the group. Ace looks at the bio-android, unable to believe what he is seeing. No. His face steels with resolve as he stands up, tears in his eyes. Everyone looks on as he seems to fill with newfound confidence. He cries out as something inside him snaps. No! A reverberating scream tears from Ace's throat as an overwhelming surge of orange energy explodes from his core. His entire being surges with uncontrollable power, his body shaking with fury and grief. His fiery aura explodes outward, blowing everything back with hurricane force winds. His muscles expand, his eyes glowing orange with an intensity never seen before. Is that? The rogue says, eyes wide. Attaboy, the Chosen One finishes. Ace screams as his Limit Break Grade 1 transformation awakens. Through tear-streaked eyes, Ace turns towards the cause of his father's sacrifice. Fallen One! He shouts. I will kill you myself! And then, with a primal roar, Ace launches himself at the Fallen One. Chapter 20. The Final Stretch. Earth M, the End. The bio-android staggers as Ace wails on it, striking blow after blow. His newfound strength sends shockwaves through the battlefield, cratering the Fallen One's body and splintering its pale imitation of bones. Ace grits his teeth. Yeah? You feel that? Let's see you adapt to this! He raises both fists, preparing a strike meant to tear the bio-android apart. But in an instant, the Fallen One's hand snaps forward, catching Ace's punch mid-swing. Ace's eyes widen. His arm trembles against the inhuman grip as he struggles, pushing forward with all his might. His aura blazes around him, but the bio-android remains unfazed. Then, crack! A sickening snap echoes through the battlefield as the Fallen One twists Ace's arm, breaking it at the elbow. Ace's scream pierces the air, his body convulsing in agony. He barely has time to react before the Fallen One rockets skyward, dragging him along. Then suddenly, the bio-android pivots downward, driving Ace into the ground like a meteor. The impact sends a shockwave that obliterates the ground beneath them. Dust and debris erupt into the sky as the battlefield quakes. Ace's body lays motionless in the crater. His energy flickers, his consciousness fading. From across the field, the Chosen One watches in horror. No, he growls, his voice breaking as he dashes toward his alternate son. But the Fallen One is faster. It shifts, sidestepping the Chosen One's charge with eerie precision, and as he stumbles past, it snatches him mid-step. The Chosen One barely has time to react before the Fallen One flips him over its shoulder, slamming him onto his back. The wind is driven from his lungs, his vision blurs, and then the bio-android's fist crashes down. One blow, then another, and another. Each strike sends blood splattering across the cracked earth along with a shockwave of earthquake magnitudes. The Chosen One's head whips back with every punch, his once glowing eyes dimming. His body refuses to move. His strength is failing. The Fallen One rises over him, its cold black eyes piercing him to his soul. The bio-android arches back its fist, about to plunge it right through the Chosen One. The rogue stumbles to his feet, his body screaming in protest. His bones ache, his muscles barely respond, but he pushes through to his feet. His eyes lock on to the younger version of himself, bloodied, beaten, about to die. And in that moment, he remembers, back to his teammates facing the Fallen One, the ones who fought beside him, the ones who trusted him, the ones he failed. Not this time. What I do next is for you, Nate, Piero, and yes, even you, Joel. Knowing the scale of what he is about to do, the rogue gathers his composure. With every ounce of his remaining strength, he dashes towards the Fallen One and the Chosen One. The Chosen One closes his eyes. The last thing he sees is a blur in front of him, a streak of motion, a shadow moving in front of him, and then... Chapter 21. The Sacrifice. Earth M, the End. The battlefield goes silent. The Chosen One opens his eyes. I'm not dead. He looks up and his eyes go wide. Standing over him was the rogue, the Fallen One's fist buried deep into his chest. Blood drips from the corner of his mouth, his body frozen in midair, impaled by the strike meant for the Chosen One. The Chosen One's breath catches in his throat. His heart stops. The rogue exhales a ragged breath, coughing weakly. Slowly, his head tilts downward, looking at the wound. Then, with a faint, exhausted smirk, he lifts his gaze to the Chosen One. Looks like I beat you to the punch. His legs give out. The rogue collapses to his knees as the Chosen One looks on in horror. No! He yells. The Fallen One's eyes flicker, their dead black glow dimming as its systems begin shutting down. The cold, mechanical voice echoes through the battlefield, its final words a chilling declaration. Chosen One eliminated. Directive complete. For a moment, everything is still. Then, with an almost casual motion, the Fallen One retracts its hand from the rogue's chest with a sickening squelch. The rogue's body jerks from the motion before crumpling to the ground, unmoving. Ace doesn't hesitate. Before the Fallen One can even turn, a fiery aura explodes around the young half-universal. His eyes glow with a blinding intensity, his body crackling with volatile energy. He doesn't think, he just moves. A shockwave erupts from his launch, the ground shattering beneath his feet as he surges forward. The Fallen One barely has time to register the movement before Ace is upon it. With one decisive, furious motion, Ace swings his hand in a blinding arc, his fingers searing with a cosmic blaze. His glowing orange hand, engulfed with limit break energy, cleaves clean through the Fallen One's neck. For a fraction of a second, the bio-android remains upright, its body twitching. Then, slowly, its severed head tumbles to the ground, rolling a few feet before coming to a stop, its blank expression frozen in place. The body collapses with a heavy, final thud. Ace looks at the head with disgust, stepping up to it. With no expression, he utters 3 words: "Burn in hell." With a sickening stomp, he crushes it under his foot. Silence falls over the battlefield. The war is over, but the cost is immense. Chapter 22. Aftermath. Earth M. The End. The Chosen One kneels beside the rogue, his breath ragged, his hands trembling. "Come on, man. This is nothing. You'll heal up," he says, forcing a weak smile. But the gaping hole in the rogue's chest tells another story. His heart, exposed and bleeding profusely from a clipped wound, beats weakly as it struggles against the inevitable. His long, sweat-matted hair clings to his face as he shudders awake, coughing. "Kid," the rogue wheezes, blood flecking his lips. "You and I both..." "No, that's not true." The Chosen One tightens his grip on the rogue's hand. "We've survived worse, haven't we?" His voice wavers, betraying his desperation. The rogue lets out a pained chuckle, quickly followed by another bloody cough. "Not this time," he rasps. "You know just as well as I do, a blow to the heart is fatal. It stops..." He grimaces, his breathing shallow. "Our healing factor." A heavy silence settles between them, filled only by the distant hum of destruction. The rogue weakly pats his own head and smirks through the pain. "Chin up, kiddo. At least the better one of us is still gonna be around." The Chosen One's jaw tightens. "But you had just turned it around. You could have walked away." The rogue fights through the pain, his breathing uneven. "I didn't want my life to mean nothing." The Chosen One can feel his alternate self's pulse fading. His grip tightens as tears well up in his eyes. "Save your strength. We still need to stop the Ultimate One." The rogue smirks weakly. "I'll try not to go to sleep." His voice trails off. Before the moment can sink in, Lightspeed, Pyro, and Mystic dash into the scene, their faces bright with triumph. "We did it! We won!" Lightspeed exclaims, his energy still high from battle. Pyro's face drains of color the moment his eyes land on the rogue, lying motionless in the Chosen One's arms. Lightspeed looks on, his happiness turning to devastation. Mystic places a hand on Lightspeed's shoulder, his expression dark. The weight of their losses finally sets in. Pyro dashes forward, kneeling beside the rogue, his fingers trembling as he touches his friend's arm. "Hey, Ash," he says softly. The rogue stirs slightly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Pyro? Is that you?" Pyro glances at the Chosen One. "I'll take it from here. I can give him a bit more time, but..." The Chosen One hesitates before stepping back, allowing Pyro the space he needs. Closing his eyes, Pyro channels his ultimate energy, a purple glow radiating from his hands as he presses them over the rogue's wound. Slowly, the gaping hole in his chest begins to close. The rogue winces, sucking in a sharp breath. "I've sealed the wound, but he doesn't have much time left," Pyro says grimly. The Chosen One nods, his expression solemn. "And that's enough." As they gather themselves, mourning their fallen, Prime's voice crackles through their calms. You'll want to come to me. I think the rogue wasn't lying." The Chosen One helps the rogue to his feet. The rogue stifled a groan, gritting his teeth as he leans against him. Mystic responds into the calm, his voice tense. "On it. Where are you?" "I'm on the west side, deep underground," Prime replies. You'll want to come quickly. Thankfully, I was able to subdue it with my mind control. Lightspeed looks at the others. It? What's it? Mystic glances at the others. Got it. We're on our way. He removes his hand from his ear, turning to look at the rest of the group. You all heard that, didn't you? Mystic relays. He's underground, on the west side. The Chosen One nods, adjusting his grip on the rogue. You know how to get there? Mystic exhales. Yeah, I should. The Chosen One scans the room, his expression dark. Or said he subdued it, but we don't know what we're walking into. Everyone, stay on high alert. Ace shudders, still radiating orange energy, his body trembling with barely restrained anger and grief. Lightspeed hesitates before whispering to the Chosen One. Is he okay? The Chosen One just shakes his head. He just lost his father. Don't push him, please. Lightspeed swallows hard. Shit. Yeah, got it. Mystic steps forward. Everyone ready? They all nod, silently. With a flick of his hands, Mystic conjures a portal. The team steps through, emerging into a dimly lit underground laboratory. Prime stands in the center of the room, his back to them, facing something obscured by shadows. Or, is that it? The Chosen One asks cautiously. Prime steps aside, something off about him. Take a look. For yourself. The dim glow of teal lights flickers to life, revealing a massive healing tank filled with clear liquid. Suspended within, motionless, is a fully biological matter clone of the Chosen One. Everyone gasps as they behold the sight in front of them. All this time, the rogue had been telling the truth. Chapter 23. The Ultimate One. Earth M. The End. A suffocating silence fills the room. So, what do we do with it? Lightspeed asks, his voice uneasy. Stasis death, the Chosen One replies grimly. We need to make sure it never... An orange energy blast tears through the air, shattering the tank. Glass and liquid explode outward, fragments scattering across the chamber. Before the clone can take its first breath, it's incinerated, instantly erased from existence. The team whirls around. Ace stands there, his fists still glowing, his face streaked with tears. His chest rises and falls with ragged breaths, his eyes burning with untamed fury. No more fucking clones, he mutters through clenched teeth. Without another word, he turns and walks away, his footsteps echoing through the chamber. The silence he leaves behind is deafening. Well, that was anticlimactic, Lightspeed says. Behind them, the rogue exhales a final rattling breath. He holds his chest as he collapses. The Chosen One catches him, lowering him gently. The two variants' eyes meet, one's filled with sorrow, the other's with acceptance. It's time, isn't it? The Chosen One murmurs. A weak, remorseful smile flickers across the rogue's lips. It's really a shame things couldn't have been different. The Chosen One looks down at his older, grizzled self. Yeah, sure is. The rogue looks at the Chosen One, breathing ragged and unstable. All my life, I was shunned, not accepted for my strength, feared for my power. But today, I got to use it for good. He coughs, his body trembling. At least, I got to die the hero. His body stills as his heart, unable to withstand the damage it sustained, finally gives out. The Chosen One bows his head, gripping his alternate self's lifeless hand. Pyrrho collapses and cries, and all the other Variashes look on with sorrow. They mourn, not just for the man before them, but for what could have been. The rogue was dead. The Chosen One of Earth 0910 was no more. Chapter 24. The Big Three. Earth 0910. Hall of Revenge Courtyard. 1 year later, 2025. A bell tolls, ending the service. Pyrrho holds his head in his hands as the once-packed hall of the church empties out. He looks at the picture in his hand. The faces of him, Specstar, and the rogue smile up at him. He smiles pointedly back at his friends and wipes away a tear, putting the framed picture on the table in front of him. Everything all right? Pyrrho sniffles and looks up. Marshy BZ stands in the doorway, smiling at him. Piero smiles back. Yeah, just reflecting. Come on now. Marshy walks over to Piero, putting his hand on his shoulder. You think Ash would have wanted you to cry over him like this? Piero shakes his head. No. Marshy smiles through tears of his own. We have to celebrate him. His life, his times, the memories and moments we shared. We gotta cherish those, 'cause that's how he lives on. Piero breaks down, falling to the floor, and Marsh comforts him, holding his friend. I just wish he was here, alive, with us, as himself. I try to remember the good, but he threw that all away. He became what Joel saw him as, a monster. Marsh looked up at Piero, solid in his reserve, and in his last moments, he became our friend again. Piero and Marsh sat in silence for a bit, alone in the hall courtyard. Then they looked at each other, breaking out into laughter. I still remember when he teleported into the lounge and saw we had unplugged his PS5, said Piero. Marsh held his chest. The way he freaked out at us, I thought he was going to fry me with his heat vision, but he just chased us out of the room and up the stairs. Piero looked at Marsh. Or the time when I covered his room in the Chosen One is Mid posters. Marsh nodded, laughing. He wouldn't talk to you for weeks. They sat there reminiscing, and as they remembered more vivid memories, the laughter turned to tears. They sat together crying until they had no tears left to cry. So, sniffled Piero, what comes next? Well, said Marsh, we need a team, don't we? To honor him. Piero wiped his eyes with his arm, nodding. I suppose we do, but Nate's not going to come back. He offered his condolences, but he says he's retired now. He doesn't do the hero business anymore. Marsh smiles. About that, I might know some guys. Piero looks at the door. A man in a black and gold robe walks into the doorway, followed by a white masked man with blue hair and black clothes. The hooded man takes off his hood, revealing a white mask covering his face. The masked man removes his mask. Bending his head down and removing his mask, the man in the black and gold robe, outsider, aka Royal Ruffian, looks up at them and says, What's up, guys? We came as soon as we could. The other man, with the blue hair, Kazuru, finishes the sentence. Hope we aren't too late. Piero looks at them and smiles. No, he says, you're just in time. The end. Post-credit scene. The Lost Son. Earth 0474A. Overworld 2074. The shot circles around a familiar mansion, aged and worn. Rubble crumbled from the house, as small craters layered the land around it. Candlelight bathed a dim room in a soft flicker, smoke curling upward from incense burning at the base of a small shrine. Photographs, trinkets, and worn relics surrounded a framed portrait of the Chosen One of Earth 0474A. A mysterious masked man dressed in black clothes stood quietly before the shrine, carefully placing a faded handkerchief beside the frame. The scene aimed at his back, not showing his face. Hey, Dad, the man murmured, voice low and heavy, his tone filled with something between reverence and regret. It's been a rough amount of years, to say the least. Sometimes I still hear your voice, telling me I'm not alone, that I'm stronger than the darkness. He ran a finger over the frame's cracked glass. I wanted to believe I could live up to your legacy. Hell, Lord knows I tried, but the world's a different place now. The camera shows the picture of the Chosen One, smiling wide. You always told me to find the light, even if things seemed bleak and dull, to always seek the good in others. But, he pauses, looking down at the ground. Kai and Lex, they've made that impossible. He looks back up at the frame. I can't tolerate this any further. You always tried to keep me safe, but I'm done hiding. This only ends one way, with them dead, or me. A distant rumble stirred outside, subtle at first, barely a whisper in the wind. The man glanced toward the window, his eyes narrowing as the sky darkened unnaturally. The room seemed to pulse with tension. Outside, the winds howled as swirling storm clouds gathered rapidly, painting the horizon blood red. Dust whipped through the air, forming chaotic spirals that clawed at the trees. Shit, he muttered. They found me. The man's gaze hardened as he moved to the door, opening it with haste. He watched as orange portals tore open in the sky with earth-shaking booms. From the circular rifts, winged alien soldiers spilled out, armored, fierce, and unmistakably lethal. Well, guess some things never change, the man said quietly, looking back to survey the room one last time. "Sooner or later, enemies will always find you when you least want them to." He reached up, peeling away the mask that had hidden his face for so long. The lines of age and battle hardened a 40-year-old Ace Kemper's features, but the fire in his eyes burned just as bright. Ace struck his other hand with his clenched fist and cracked his neck, muttering, "Time to work for a living," as he crouched, triumphantly launching himself into the blood-red sky to meet the storm.